Hey now, welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Football. I'm Coach Vass. I'm joined by James Foster. Got a new drip, got the new hat in. I'm excited. Pretty in pink. I mean, that's what I think that's my nickname. James, good Titans win. Tell me what you think about the defense and the team as a whole. Where's your head at? Are you excited? I know you're a national writer now, but as a Titans fan, I'll say. I hope I'm correct there.
Yeah.
I know you covered him before, but I don't know if those one of those deals where you secretly hated him or you really liked him and whatever. But things are looking good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as for my fandom, I try to suppress it just to make my analysis as non-biased as possible. But on Sundays, I do root for the Titans to win. As for the defense, I think to me, I'm always a players over coaches, viewer of football. But I think that what Bowen and Vrabel have been able to do with the limited personnel that they have due to injuries has been really impressive. Schematically, pretty similar to last season as far as rarely blitzing. I think I had them blitzing 5 times in this game, but a couple of those were just green dog blitzes. But it's really going to be, 2 or 3 pressure blitzes per game on like a cover 3 fire zone or something, and then sim pressures the entire game, and a lot of stunts and games up front. And then, coverage wise, I think Next Gen Stats tweeted out some coverage rates, and quarters coverage, they were second in the NFL, and quarters usage didn't rank in the top 15 in any of the other major coverages.
Yep.
I have them charted as running cover 3, cover 2, cover 1, and quarters in between 10 and 15%. So they're really just kind of their philosophy is just mix it up as much as possible, and a lot of it depends on who they're playing. Like against the Raiders, for example, they ran a lot of cover 2 and cone bracket coverage. When a team has that one singular threat, but if they're more confident in their personnel outside, they'll run man coverage a lot more. And they love having, you've talked about it a lot, cover 1 cross with the backside safety, bracketing the number 3 on 3-by-1 formations. So that's kind of what I would say just schematically is their bread and butter.
So I chose this game because it had the best score. So that's where I kind of look at the scores. And then I watched a few snaps, I skimmed through it, and I saw a Dean Pease pressure. And I was like, oh, an excuse to do some Dean Pease stuff, which we'll get into here in a minute. So I was sold. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I was hired this week by a team, high school team, nothing crazy, 2 actually. And so I've been super busy. So I skimmed the game. I looked at the breakdown real quick, but I have not. It's not like usual. I'm like, oh, check this play out. So I'm going to be discovering along with the viewers. I haven't seen this game. I have the coverages. I have all the data, down distance, all that stuff, personnel, defensive personnel, coverage. Well, what PFF thinks is a coverage, which could be accurate or like, what the hell are you thinking?
What would you say the accuracy rate on PFF coverage charting is? Just
70,
wondering.
70, 65 on average. Some are, but it depends on the game. Like if you're Staley, Staley's not a good example. If you're watching Gus Bradley.
Right. I'm sure the accuracy is going to be high.
Because he lines up in one high. He lines up in split safety. There's not a ton of coverage variation from the games I've seen. Don't come in here and be like, well, actually, God, I don't care. Like, I really don't care. You're probably right. I'm probably wrong. Moving on. But teams like this, where you get quarters, quarter, half, and they'll play variations of 3-by-1, where they'll play quarters and then post the backside safety to take 3, or they'll double the X and play 2 vertical by himself. Depending on the play, it's sometimes hard to tell. Sometimes I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, if the receiver on one side runs a hitch, it can look like cover 6 when it's actually was just quarters. Like,
yeah, you try to look at alignment. You do the best you can with the information you have. Alignment, how their bodies tilted, and then a lot of it's process of elimination. So people will send me a clip and be like, "What's this?" And I'll say, send me some more clips of stuff Like, how are they playing quarters? How are they playing? And then you can kind of tell with like the footwork or the initial, like sometimes it's how they stand. It can be anything, but there's no like one way to identify this stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to jump in this in a little bit. I saw somebody asked in the chat, curious if there's any thought to doing the Titans Chiefs game. Absolutely not. 2 weeks ago, I had a bunch of stuff going on. I wasn't able to get do this. I forgot exactly what it was now. Last week was the election. I'm not going to get into politics on here, but I was not going to be focused. I was going to be staring at my other screen, watching TV. So it was really pointless. So no. So it wasn't anything about the game or anything like that. I figured I wasn't going to be interested at all in doing this. So, so there's another comment. Jordan Silveria says, Shane Bowen is a war daddy. Yes, he is. But this is nothing against Shane. This is if you didn't tell me what year it was from and I couldn't tell the players and the differences in the players, I'd have thought this was Coach B's. And what's interesting about the Titans, and again, I've talked about this before, my relationship with Matt more than Dean. I'm not going to get into what they call shit, stuff like that. I'll talk generically what you can see on film. And actually, I was going to do the Falcons, and I called Matt. I'm like, do you care if I do this? Because I don't want him teaching me stuff or talking stuff. And I've done some work with him and some things, and then me turn around and just pop up on YouTube talking about their shit. Yeah, it's just not cool. So I was like, hey man, you don't care. I'm going to use generic terms and stuff. He's like, yeah, I don't care. So what's interesting though is Pease is there in 18 and 19 when he went into retirement in 20. I think in 19 they were like middle of the road, upper part of third down. They got Clowney and help me out here. Who's the other pass rusher they got?
Vic Beasley. Like if you want to, in 2020, it was Vic Beasley, Harold Landry, Jadeveon Clowney.
Harold Landry was the guy I was thinking of. Vic Beasley as well. They plummeted to 32nd on third down, and they couldn't generate a pass rush. And they couldn't generate a pass rush because they stopped doing all this shit, the little stuff that Dean was doing to get one-on-one matchups. They stopped doing it. And so they had better players and were last in the NFL. And what I've seen now is, and I don't know if it was an adjustment or if Vrabel said, hey, we just went through all this crazy shit. We had this legendary defensive coordinator that knew all this stuff. And Shane, because he had like a weird setup in 2020 where they didn't really have a defensive coordinator. He would name it or something. Wasn't there something like that?
Yeah, it was, man, I don't even really remember all the details, but there wasn't like a publicly named defensive coordinator. And so there was just this guessing game all season about who to actually blame for it.
Yeah. And so what I see, I didn't watch a ton of them last year. I did a game on them last year. I don't really remember all that was entailed. Like I do these things, they're fun and I really enjoy it. And then I go about my day and I don't, because this is not what I do. It's not what I think about. It started with something me being bored during the season with all my coaching friends gone and coaching. But I watched a couple snaps of this and I was like, oh shit. Now, you Titans fans out there might be like, they did this stuff in 2020. I don't know what you're talking about. This has been going on. You're probably right. You're probably right. But the little bit I've seen, when I saw this game and when I've seen other clips from this year, I've been like, oh, it's back again. So again, this is one man's half perception of what's going on. And so, yeah. So I'm excited about the hat. I'm loving it. I don't care what y'all think. I love it. I'm having fun with it. I also got a bunch of new music for tonight. So, yeah, if you haven't been here in a while, I started doing music. If it's too loud, holler at me, but I got a whole new batch of music. I was on a Patreon for my podcast. I was using royalty-free music. I subscribed to a Patreon. This guy made royalty-free music. Loved it. Used it in my podcast. Built commercials around it. I had a copyright strike last week from him. And I'm like, dude, I was on your fucking Patreon. What are you doing? He's like, oh, sorry, mate. I think he was from England. I don't know. But they rescinded it. But so I got some new music. I took all his shit out. I got some new music. Now, probably you don't care, but I like to have sound in the background when you're talking for 2.5 hours. All right, James. This is the part where I switch over to the film and all hell may break loose. I haven't figured out how to do this yet and make it a smooth transition. So everybody strap in. Here we go. Switching. 3, 2, close my eyes. 1 and a half. Oh, wait, no. Nope. Not a smooth transition, but we got it. All right, let's get to the film. Oh, that's way. Why I had it set here. There we go. All right. First play. Now, again, I haven't seen this in depth. There's 84 plays. I'm gonna just probably fly through a lot of stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna do my best here. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna add a little something here. I want to get the I put personnel in a wrong column, so I'm gonna pull that up and then we're gonna roll in the film. Thanks for being patient. It's funny. I told James before we started, like, hey man, like probably gonna cap the beginning a little bit and come quicker, and I talk more than I usually do. All right, so here we go. 4-2-5 personnel. We got cover for 11 personnel on the offense, 1st and 10 from the 4-yard line. Broncos country. Let's ride. All right, here we go. Nothing too crazy here. Hard play action from inside. They're on 4, which is down here. You expect deep shots, hard counts and deep shots. The offense is going to run dagger. This is what I don't like about some of these zone coverages right here. You run into a situation where, hold on one sec, something's going wrong. It wouldn't be Tuesday Night Football without all hell breaking loose. Don't you know? I think I just actually dragged StreamYard into the broadcast. That's fun. All right, so here's one thing I don't understand about the NFL. Okay. And this is where I've actually struck up 2 friendships in the last couple of weeks with some NFL guys. And I see this all the time. All right, I'll turn it down a little bit. I'll turn it down. It's all good. It's all good. This right here, I don't understand this. You're playing quarters. You're a quarter flat player. You're going to reroute number 2. Okay, take some speed off him for the safety. One of the hardest things about playing quarters in the NFL is these dudes here are usually the fastest guys. And these guys here they're not as fast as the corner. So in high school, a lot of the teams that play quarters, we put our best athlete at the field side safety. Okay? So that's our best athlete. Well, that doesn't happen in the NFL. The best athletes are out here. Or if he's not the best athlete, he's the second best athlete on the team. So you want to take speed off at 2. We never did that. The reason we didn't take speed off at 2 all the time was because his reads are predicated on what he does. And when you start jacking him up and redirecting him and doing all this stuff, you now can't see what he's doing. And when you can't see what he's doing, you don't know where to help. Okay? So here's my thing. If you're going to do this and chuck him, turn your eyes to 1. Looking at the quarterback is not going to help you. I've said this before. I'll say it again. The numbers don't catch passes, James. They don't. They don't have arms. They don't have eyes. They don't catch passes. Fast people do. So you let the dagger wide open. That's the little shit that irritates me about the zone philosophy of the NFL, to be quite honest with you.
And then Jerry Jeudy breaks or does something to his ankle on this play. So that was the last play that he was in for the entire game.
Oh, that was Jeudy in the slot. I thought Jeudy was coming outside. It's Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton. All right, 2nd and 10. 11 personnel again. The Titans are in 4-2-5 personnel, 2-4-5, whatever you're going to call it. These guys are more like traditional DN. So for the purposes of this conversation tonight, that is what you're seeing. 4-2-5. It looks the same because some weeks I'll say 2-4-5. That's why I'm saying 4-2-5. All right, this is great. Corners again. Fast 3s. So when you get a fast 3 here, corner is especially man on 1 unless 1 goes underneath. we used to make a China call. Some people call it smash, some people call it under, whatever. What he's saying then is, I'm going to bail and I'm going to play to 2. Okay. This is hard with a short field. I know the boundary in the NFL is relative, but with it being a short field, with this guy in here, the guys can bump into each other and you can actually get picks even in zone coverage if you're matching. What has to happen is this backer here has to push through the flat, and then this backer here has to play this. Well, that's hard because he's responsible technically for this B gap. With the back here, that's a tough proposition. But they pull it off nicely. 3's fast, I'm fast. That was our rule. They're going to push through. He's going to push to the next guy. You get a double here on the 7 route. Well, it's supposed to be a 7 route. It's not. And one of the things you got to be careful of when you're doing this, you want to accelerate. You don't want to overrun this. Because they hit you here, nobody's home. Great job. Backside, you have 5-yard in, 10-yard dig. Again, quarter flat player needs to come off. Corner's going to squeeze to the dig. And a lot of times with these inside safeties, if they get an undercall, if you got real good ones, now we never did this. I wasn't that crazy, but you can actually push this guy more inside, and so they can bracket this route here. Corner actually jumps that though. All right, so they stay on that. Russ lost to throw it away.
So they played that correctly on the field side then, right?
Yeah, a lot of guys, it depends on if you want to make the China calls or not, depending on their tendencies. So if their tendency is to pick on this guy and this guy's really good, or it depends on who you talk to. Like for me, if I saw this, I'd be like, hey, let me take a step back. All right, let me take a step back. I don't know what their camp rule is, because obviously I've never been in their training camp. Is this charging or no? What's going on here? Is this supposed to be charging? And I don't know if it is or not. I gotta be careful because I don't want to lose my remote. All right, there we go. It's actually charging now. Hopefully it still works. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go mouse for a little bit because this thing is dying. I apologize, guys. Yeah. I'm gonna let that turn off for a little bit. I'm gonna go mouse. All right. So when you're game planning the routes, you want to go and you want to see, all right, what comes with this route? Okay. Because normally if you're running a 5-yard under, right, some sort of underneath route, the rule would be to make the smash call, the nickel comes off, and then I would look for the 7, right? If that was a slant, you'd want to do that because you're going to think, 7 corner, even though the back is away from you. Mm-hmm. But I think what's going to happen is with this back also being away, when he goes fast, he has to come fast, which means he has to take 2 back inside. So this would be a scenario where they may say, hey, if the back is present, let it go. We push through, but hey, 2's away. We got to stay on 1. We got to stay on 2. We got to stay on 1. That's most likely what happened there, which is why he played. Some people call it the dive route. I mean, there's just a bunch of everybody's got different names for everything. And I think once he goes past, once he realizes he's not coming underneath, he chucks him. Then they can basically double this because you're not going to get. With this square in like this at 5 yards or whatever, thin, whatever you want to call it, they're not going to – 2 is not likely to run a corner route, right? Because if you wanted to high-low the corner, you'd high-low the corner. You wouldn't want to bring him inside because then the corner can let him go and then play there. Does that make sense? It's all trying to what you accomplish.
Yeah.
All right, big completion for the Broncos. 3rd and 10 from the 4-yard line. They're in a bunch. It's 11 personnel. It's basically 11 personnel until I tell you it's not. They're in 3-by-1. All right, let me watch this again. So here's my thought here. This is tough. This is where outside leverage quarters helps you. This guy being inside, he can't get to this out quick enough. So now the corner has to go here. The safety doesn't push out enough. We always said when we were playing that sort of coverage technique that you had a laser coming out of your dick, and it was pointed at the hip of number 2 or belly button. If you want to be more not PC, but if you're high school and you don't really want to tell kids they have imaginary weapons coming out of their penis, you could also just say your belly button. If you point at the hip of the receiver, you should shuffle out to it. Be at a point where if he breaks in, you can drive it. If he goes, you can push out. His belly button's pointing towards the sideline, so he's already at a disadvantage because if this guy breaks, he's going to have to step back to go forward, right? And that's where you're beat. So he should be more of a 45. He's too far away from him. To me, that's fine. Is that KJ Hamler?
I think
no.
Number 9 was that Kendall Hinton, the guy that played quarterback for one game.
I was so proud of myself. I thought I got a name right. Decent protection here. He gets hit at the end. But that's where you see the corner, because the leverage of, real quick review, because the leverage, it's not going to be good without my clicker. This guy's inside. He can't push out. The corner has to go. He sees him open, because if they throw that ball down, snap it off, he gets the first down. So my advice, play wider than your bunch. It's 3rd and 10. You moved everybody close to inside of the ball. There's no reason to play inside like that. All right, here we go. 1st and 10, 11 personnel. Now you got cover 2. So now they're playing Tampa.
Yeah, they play Tampa. It's interesting looking at the splits in terms of like how often they'll play Tampa 2 based on whether or not they have David Long healthy, because he usually misses 3 or 4 games a season. And when they don't have him, they just, like last year, like they just don't have, he's so good at like running the pole down the middle. Just he can keep up with Stephon Diggs on a bender.
All right, you can see, and that makes a ton of sense, by the way. I mean, that's, you have a guy that can run that, right? This is a good view of Tampa 2 versus 4 strong. So he's still going to play the middle third, but this backer's going to have to push. This is kind of a problem on this backside. Can you see my mouse? A little bit. Only if I move it over here. I got to remember that. This is kind of a problem. Because your corner's playing. Your corner, see how he moves inside? He has to. Because with this guy here and possibly draining them out, he's got to push to play the next. Because he's got to run down the middle no matter what. So you're really pushed. So like your quarters, your push was between backer, nickel, right? Now in Tampa, it's between backer, nickel, corner. Because this guy, right, no matter what, he has to play this middle part. And you'll see it unfold here. And they're down a guy. They're short a guy. That's the problem with Tampa 2 is you really can't push. Really can't push 4 strong as well. Now you'll see him work out with 4 strong. You'll see him work out to the new 3, which is actually this guy, and he's going to be responsible for 4. So I think if he would have settled down in here, he would have pushed through, and he maybe have run this down the middle and said, "My dude, you got him." That doesn't. We can see if we get that again, but they've got him stretched underneath. I mean, they've got one more than they have.
The strong side hook defender 24 is Elijah Molden, and this is his first game back from a groin injury all season. So if there was like a cup missed assignment, I would maybe lean towards pinning it on him, I guess, if you can't decide, because he talked a lot about that, about how, or mentioned some about that in the post game comments, just being 100% there mentally.
That's tough. I mean, this time though, I ain't his fault. So, but I'll keep an eye on that. That's definitely good information to have. All right, a lot of these are passed, so we're watching the wide copy more than the. So 4 passes to start the game, 1 completion for 35 yards. Not great. 1 of 4. Not great, not terrible. So they're going to go read option here, 11 personnel, 4-2-5. Titans spin down to 3 deep. Oh, they're running whip. That's why. Running whip fire zone. I know I talk about this once a broadcast, but we'll go through it. Whip fire zone. I have a whole video on it. I'm sure you guys are hearing me. Sick of hearing me talk about it. All it is a 1-man pressure. And will bonus drop on pass. A simulated pressure. It's been in that Ravens family forever and a day. Simple but effective. Nice play there.
That's an insane play by 93.
All right, here comes the funk. Here we go. Finally, we got 9 personnel on the field. We got a loaded front. So we have 3 to one side. You got both backers mugged up to the weak side. Broncos are an empty. Oh, they just say F you and come after them. Beautiful. Yeah, 0 blitz. Here we go. Chuck and duck. God, they just. So what the Broncos try to do here is they're going to go half slide ship. So here's the problem with this design of this play. Okay, you're sliding all this. The sign is wild. It's like funk or like electronic, and then you got like you're at Westworld. So they're keeping their half slide on, which okay, fine. But the problem is Russell's hot's right here. I don't know if they're saying, hey, we're going to stay in half slide. We're going to count this as chip protection. But the problem is they can't, like the back can't block this guy. So this is their hot. Well, look where Russell's looking.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time Tennessee has run like, mugged up the A-gaps and just straight up rushed everyone this entire season. I just checked back on Huddle. Like anytime I have them running cover 0, it's from a completely different look, or they're in like empty or something. But yeah, this is I guess they were just not expecting them to bring everybody is my best guess.
Dev, no, I'm not cutting the music off. Sorry. I'll change songs, but I'm not cutting the music off. Thanks. That's because this guy's not writing. He's not doing his shit. He's not playing well. It's cutting edge analysis. He's not doing his shit off. He's not playing well. I mean, this is not a winning business model here where you're gonna say, all right, I'm gonna let my hot come from the other side. I'm gonna run backwards and then huck it deep.
Yeah.
Not a fan. But good design. I mean, good on them for coming. I mean, that's where you got to change your self-scout and your tendencies, right? Like, coming after him, I probably wasn't expecting that. Was probably expecting him to bail out. Let's see what we got here.
This, honestly, like, I think this game is probably the least impressed that I've ever been with Russell Wilson. Like, I thought as a whole, the Titans were pretty solid defensively, but they were still giving a lot of stuff. There was still a lot of open stuff, and Russell just could not find it, especially when he was getting pressured.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. They can't. If you're gonna play quarters and you do this, you got to bump out. They get two basically outside of him. I mean, now he can't make that throw with that guy in his face. But, yeah, that's brutal. A ball's got to come out now. Yeah, he gets it out. I mean, they get a few yards, but So there's a bust by the Titans. All right, we got another fire zone or bonus fire zone here. Yeah, we got 1st and 10, -21. Wait a minute. So there was a penalty here, and it's first. Wait, what's going on here? What happened here? They get 1st and 10 on the 21, both plays in a row. After a flag?
Can't remember what the flag was.
All right, so this is just nickel, bringing the nickel. I wish my clicker was working. This is really cool. So what they're trying to do here is they're showing weak side pressure to try to get the line. If it's pass, try to get the line to slide this way to the down safety. And then they pop the top late. The problem with this is this guy's stance gives it away. I mean, he ain't blitzing like that. I don't know what that's where you get like, all right, what are you doing, man? The safety down here, and they pick it up right away. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things. Yeah, they don't even change their slide to it because they're like, yeah, you're not blitzing. I mean, 55 the outside, but
47 is a backup, like practice squad type of player. He's been playing really well, but
not great.
Is that? I wonder. Like, I don't know how much you did of this at the high school level, but it's interesting. The Titans have had a lot of injuries in their secondary over the last couple of weeks, but they haven't changed the frequency of like coverage rotations and disguises and all of that. Is that, like if half of your secondary is guys that you just picked up off someone else's practice squad, how hard is that to go with like your full game plan that you might go with the starters? As far as like asking safeties.
Showing where the line, it may be something that you cut because you're like, all right, that's not at the top level. That's not like the thing we're worried about. Mm. But changing where you stand is the easiest thing to do,
right?
On defense, right? But it doesn't look. I don't know if this is coordinated or not. I know that some people, they do a thing where they'll say something like, "Oh well, we let the players do it." Like what? Like we would have called this. Like I there was a snap we did last night. We showed 3. I was watching. Somebody asked me a question from a team that they're playing, that we had seen before, and I was looking through some snaps, and we had shown 1 high and pop back to 2 high on 3rd and medium or 3rd and 1, and it was all coordinated. They were like stem and move calls and stuff. I don't know how they're doing it. I mean, it looks coordinated, but it looks kind of like it looks sloppy. It's like popcorn. Like it's like all right, he's moving, then he's moving, then he's moving. Like it's not. It just looks disjointed. Not a big deal. I mean, you're not losing anything by doing it, but you're not gaining what you want, if that makes sense.
Right.
All right, 2nd and 12. I'm sorry, 2nd and 10, 11 personnel. We have our first cover 2 palms blitz, which we'll see some of, depending on the some of the routes. Now, one thing I noticed is they're starting to blitz more. Broncos are under center, so I'm expecting run and deep shot. So I wonder if this is an alert. So a lot of these NFL teams, what they'll do, I've talked about this on Twitter a little bit. So what they'll do is they'll say, all right, you don't see this in the pros, but in college, gun is whatever we call, and then if they get under center or in the pistol, we're going to check to this. But this is a close cousin of what we used to call wide stinger 5 jam, which is a huge like zone, like come down the line, tackle a thing, knock the ball out that you wouldn't necessarily want to run versus RPOs or drop back. Well, we ran versus drop back pass, but that's a very, I don't know. That's a good under center. We're going to run the ball call. What's funny to me is The Titans have been playing shade nose, and I noticed this when I watched Dean stuff. So the Titans play a lot of like shade nose stuff and base defense, but now when they're going to cross face, they're starting out here, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if they're trying to trick them, but what ends up happening is you get duo into it, and they just wash everything down, cut it inside. Not the call you want. You like it better with zone where you can run with it, right? You cut the play off, and then you force it to cut back into the blitzer. But now they're coming at it, so you're slanting away, and they're trying to wash everything down. So you're basically doing their job for them. That's where duo can have some equalizing effect. All right, here we go. 3rd and 3, 11 personnel. They're all mugged up again. Load front. Backers walked to the side of the back. Now they bail. They're ratting underneath, looking for quick throws. Good coverage. Watch that from the wide one more time. I want to watch how they block this. I'm always fascinated how these teams block this. Really what you're going to try and do. So this is all well and good and doing this. But what you're going to do is you're going to see difference. It's X's on a chalkboard, right? So you got mugged A. It's the same thing as the mug front, right? Everybody's gapped out. But you got your 3 bigs over here. So you're not going to treat it the same as like some of the NFL teams they call Abby protection. Well, they'll take, the back will take that guy if this is a backer, right?
Right.
We'll go slide. He'll take this backer. He'll come across because it's a better angle. That's called Abby. Right? It's been around the league forever. But what they do here is they're going to slide to the bigs. And it looks like, I'm trying to see with 25. So he hangs out in case one of them trying to come through the A gap. But he's looking to block this guy. So they 4-1 slide this. Because probably you want to block the most dangerous threats, right? So obvious threat. Okay, I got to pick up one of these 2 guys. Well, James, you're game planning against this team, against the Titans, your beloved Titans. Who are you more worried about, 51 or 47?
51.
And he's closer to the ball.
Right.
So you really want to screw with him? Flip these 2. Now you have to make a choice. Do I want to block the most dangerous guy, or do I want to block the guy with the most direct path? Just a thought. All right. 21 personnel. This must be 21 with 2 tailbacks. Titans are back in nickel 4-2-5 personnel. I have a pass here. You get a snap of 3. All right, this is cool. This is good right here. Okay, they do a little shallow route or inside route, basically just spacing, right? I'm surprised they didn't free release this back. Little spacing route. They drop down to 3. I don't quite understand this. 56. There's one threat out there. I know he's got to drop to him. He should be dropping here. I know it's 3D, so you got to get some run, but you're pointing inside. There's 2 backs in the backfield, and this one's fast, so I don't know why he's pointing back to here. Because when this guy comes in, he has to pass him to the backer with this guy here. This guy's going to leverage the back out. Cover 3. The corner can't drop down on this. So you're pointing to a guy who's covering here. Problem. It's simple. They stress the underneath zones. They sit in the zone, catch the ball, get 11 yards. It's stuff like that that's super easy. to do on offense, right?
All right. Yeah, 56. Monty Rice is a second year player. Kind of had a rough game.
The University of Georgia.
Yes, dime linebacker.
He wasn't Mr. Irrelevant, was he? That was the guy at the Giants. That was from Georgia.
No, he was. Yeah, that was Tay Crowder. I think Tay Crowder had
Georgia linebackers confused.
Yeah, Georgia's kind of linebacker you, at least in terms of number of people that get drafted.
Get another nickel pressure, sim pressure. So the safety coming down comes inside, pause of the this tight end flex. The rule here is if you come inside like that, you got to make the play, right? And he does. This is horseshit by this guy. Come on, dude. Cool block. Don't quite understand. What's the end zone? This is just zone read bubble with the back, getting a 3-by-1, getting him on the run. Good play by the safety coming down. For no yard gain, which is tough in cover 3. All right, we got a compressed set. We got our first snap of 12 personnel. First and second and 10. The Titans. Do we have an alert for it? I wish I had a sound for it. We have a tilt alert. So you have shade 5, 3, 5, 9. Looks like it's going to be some sort of cover 3 buzz. 3 buzz weak. Interesting. That's interesting. They're rotating away from that. Or is this more? No, that's cover 3. Or is it the inverted half stuff? No, they wouldn't come down like that. Let me see this. I love this. Gee, I wonder if he's motioning. My favorite. He's like, yeah, move down. This guy's motioning over there. I love this front a lot. You set hard edges here. There's no space to run in. They try and pull the guard. I don't understand this. That's not. Is this supposed to be power? And that's supposed to be the kick out? God damn. Hey, look, somebody spills the ball. What is that? And this is in 3D, which you're probably not supposed to do. Look what happens. Makes it log jam. They run it around and they get, wow, what a concept, everybody. Terrible. I see so much bad defense on now on Saturdays too. All right, here we go. 3rd and 11. Titans are real wide in their front. What happens here with 99 feet fall down? Oh, he just he just doesn't like get off the ball. He like falls over. That's the worst. That is the worst thing in all football.
Oh, you're talking. Oh,
you stuff their ass on 3rd and 11. You stuff their or 1st and 10. Sorry, 2nd and 10. You get them in the 3rd and 11, and then this happens. Good route here. All right, next play. 1st and 10. Offense is in 11 personnel. Defense is in 4-2-5. They're going to run the ball. Not great. Zone cut. Zone cut is often what's referred to as running zone weak with this guy trying to dig him out. Titans play a 6 technique, which is not super popular in the NFL, I guess I should say. But this is why it's great. I can't touch my man right here. A lot of the reason that these guys are successful when they play split safety is that cat right here. Because now your gap that you're leaving open is this one. Well, it's much easier from saying I'm playing A to D, even though it's farther away. because this ball can go here and has to wind all the way out. Problem with split safety run fits is when they can get up through here and then bounce it out to the C gap. It's shorter and you can jump cut at one, especially these guys are so athletic. They can jump cut in one move and they're gone. But you see what happens. And it's not even so much that DN kicks 80's ass. He doesn't. 80 does a good job of, well, he's playing the C gap. So he sees it go down, so he's going to get his head inside. But now they can't get to this guy. And he's able to fall back and make the tackle.
It's interesting watching the Titans defense this year compared to recent years. They have so much more size at defensive end because Harold Landry got injured, and so they went from like Harold Landry, Ola Adeni, who's like a 240, 250. They had like these speed rusher type, like archetype of players on the end, and now they've got Mario Edwards, the other guy that's like a clone of him, but they're like 275, 280. And you can really see that just setting a lot harder edges.
That helps. All right, we got 21 personnel, 2nd and 9 from the 33. 4-2-5. Again, we have quarters. They're motioning 3-by-1. This is what drives me nuts. I love this. These two guys are looking at the quarterback, right? Watch him. He's there, so he's in a position where he can turn and run if he throws this ball. But get out here. You're out leveraged. Ugly football plays happen outside and deep. If Russell sticks his foot in the ground and this guy, and he can swing and get a little bit of momentum, he can hit this thing and he gone. And now he's got to make a sideline tackle rolling back. It's just not great. Like, there's nothing happening in here. These guys are man. It's quarters. Got a double on the X because there's two backs in the backfield. Sometimes I don't get it. And I know that some people will watch this and look at this and go, why do you care, man? They didn't even throw the ball there. It's the next play that's going to be the problem. Or another play coming down. All right, here we go. 3rd and 9. Loaded front again to the back. Here we go. So here's a lot of the times this is what happens. Okay, for those of you guys who don't know, for those of you who do know, sorry, I'm explaining this again. But when you create these presentations, it's like the wing tee of defense almost, in the sense that you create a look and then you have a checklist in your head, or maybe even on paper. If they block it like this, do this. If they block it like that, do that, or whatever. So the first snap, I believe the Titans bailed. Second snap, they brought everybody. But that was empty, right? So that might have been an empty check. We don't know. The third time, they bailed and played cover 1 on 3rd and short. Now this time, they're gonna run palms fire zone. Okay, so it's basically quarters, palms, whatever you want to call it. It looks the same here because these guys are far apart. So what they're doing is they're playing it's 2-by-2. Had this guy motioned over, they would have spun down to 3-by-1 most likely. So they are bringing pressure. They're running the old long stick behind it. They're going to drop these two dudes out. And instead of dropping him out and having the nose rush all the way here, what they're probably thinking is, hey, we've been showing a lot where we're bringing sim pressures. Okay, and again, this is all conjecture. This is all guessing. I have no idea. I'm not in those meeting rooms. Okay? Here's what I do know. Okay? A lot of time when they've been sim pressuring, they've been dropping this guy out, which means this back doesn't have to stay in the block. So his side bails, so he can bail out of there, and he's gone. And then these guys are looking over here to this side to pick up this. Let me clear this out. This guy coming late. Well, guess what happens? He goes. He stays on this side. They run up. You get the pick game here on the center. And you got edge rush. Now the back who's been thinking, oh, this guy's going to drop, this guy's going to drop, this guy's going to drop. He's now responsible for this cat. He sees it late. Guy takes a bad angle. He picks it up, but now look what has to happen. And it turns into this bullshit. Well, bullshit if you're the Broncos. If it's you, you're fucking ecstatic. You guys feel me on that? Let's watch this in the end zone. Okay. It's slide. And this back realizes, oh shit. This guy's coming. Because right now, this looks like, hey, everybody's just bailing out. And guys, it's cool. We're just running a stunt. We're playing coverage. No big deal. NBD. And then, because you see this all the time, right? See it all the time. And then you just sneak that guy in there. And it's like, oh shit. He does a good job. He sees it late. Problem is, these guys get walked back to the quarterback, which forces him to bubble around. Now he's chased. Now he's throwing it. The coverage is pretty simple. It's vertical 2, vertical 2. If 2 goes out, look to 1. 2 goes out, look to 1. And then these guys dropping, they basically have to buy 2 going back inside because you're down a guy underneath. You can't pass it off to anybody. Right? Now, the weakness is if they send 5 out, it's a game of chicken. So they swing this back. Now it's 3rd and 9, so they're saying, all right, we'll go ahead and do that. But you swing the back, this guy's going to come free, but we're going to get the ball out before. But they keep him in. Why would they have to, and Dominic said they flipped 47 and 51 here. Why would they have to rotate to cover 3 on motion? Because it's really hard to run 2 read versus 3 by 1. I mean, with one less underneath guy. 2 read is hard on trips. And that's if you bring the guy here, bring the backside safety here to play 3. You're leaving your corner backside one-on-one, really one-on-one. And now you have nobody over here. So you'd have 1 underneath dropper to 3 people. If they brought someone back inside, there would literally be, like if they did this nickel, the corner could trap here. But the nickel would have to look for 1 coming in, and there's literally nobody on this guy. So you're really screwed. So I hope that answers the question there. All right, moving on. All right, next series. 1st and 10 from the negative. Good field position, -8. We got 12 personnel. The Broncos this drive go 12. So like, well, let's try to pound it in there. Try to do some play action. First play, they run boot. Leave the guy open. That's easy money. And that's what's great about these condensed formations where they suck sometimes, or where they're great in other times. Where you really see this and this type of stuff is usually this guy's a big tight end. Now you can get your fast guys on the edge. You get the ball into space much quicker. And 59 almost has to do this because he can't cover number 9. If he knocks him down, cool, but like, he ain't gonna run with that guy.
Right.
That guy will slip his ass. I mean, there's nobody here. Slip his ass and run right there. Then it's even worse. At least here you make the ball get out fast and you just try to rally and do something. 17 yards. Next play is a penalty, so I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to start cooking on this because we're only 20 plays in and we're almost an hour in. So I'm going to start cooking. Get a little twist here. We got, is it a twist? No, it's a backer blitz. So they're just bringing the backer. It's a simulated pressure. They're running 3 weak, drop in the end. Scramble, get the ball out. I mean, this is where Russell is good. He can do some of this stuff, but sometimes when you're relying on your offense to produce, that's not great.
Yeah, it's great when you can do that to get yourself out of trouble, but it's not great when that's like 80% of where you're banking on offensive production from is like broken plays.
Well, and this is god awful. I mean, his arms are outside the frame of his body. He kicks. He opens the gate. I mean, Jesus, there's nothing great going on there. 51 takes a good inside move. I mean, he's got to finish that. He's right there. Or we got split zone, 4-2-5 personnel, still 12, 2nd and 6. That come back because that was a 9-yard gain, and then it came back to 2nd and 6. Oh well, I don't know what happened.
That's exactly how I am. I'll cut up film and then I'm like, wait, how the hell did that play not count? Because I don't like chart penalties.
split zone. This is where playing split safety is hard on your fits. Because with this guy coming back, you have to basically be ready to rock back. Here's the problem with playing a 9 technique. I mean, there should have been, with this guy swiping back, you should be good. Actually, yeah, you should be good, but 93 does what 93 does, but he's too far inside. The guard's able to keep a hold of him long enough. He can't make the play. So actually, it wasn't the 9 technique because they moved the guy back, so it doesn't really matter if you're a 9 or a 6. Another run play. This one gets stuffed. 1st and 10, -39, 12 personnel. We got quarter, half sighting versus nub trips. So they're playing. I wonder if this is corners over. I know Dean and them used to do a lot of corners over stuff. 39 a corner.
Yeah.
All right, so they're not doing corners over. So you got quarter, half, which at this juncture you can't tell if it's. I mean, anybody in cover 2 is going to play it like this no matter what because it's a nub. So there's no reason to go flying out of here. But they run the ball. He keeps it. I don't know why. Again, this is what's infuriating. Did they give him a pull read?
Watch 90.
Dude, that's a fucking give read. I mean, this is the thing about Russell Wilson and his God complex. I'm sorry, what were we gonna say?
Pretty much the same thing that you were. I remember when I was going through this game before, I'm like, why is he pulling here?
You think that guy doesn't have his cleats in the ground? You think he's gonna be able to tackle the dive? God, he sucks. 2nd and 12. We have whip fire zone again. This is what gives the offense problems here is it looks like split safety, smells like split safety. Then all of a sudden it's not. Interesting presentation here from I want to see what he's reading here. I want to see the progression. Also, what the hell is this? Okay. All right, kids. This is, I don't know what to say about this. This is, some people call it a shock, Lucy, steamer, chop, whatever you want to call it. It's a 1 high beater, hitch, fade, option route. Okay. It's too high. He thinks it's too high. I'm going to call bullshit that he's like, oh, I knew it was going to be cover 3. Bullshit, you did. That nothing of that looks like it's going to be 3D. Okay. So I don't know who's responsible for if they're supposed to make any sort of adjustments or who's supposed to make audibles or whatever. But I know the NFL teams that I know their offenses, if they have this play called and they get too high, they're usually going to do something different. Or they're going to try and hit this right now. Take the hitch. Mr. Wilson doesn't even get his eyes out there. Look where they are before he gets his eyes out there. Watch this in the end zone. I don't know what he's looking at. What's he looking at? Damn. Oh, the linebacker's coming. Great. Hey, look how casual he is. Mr. Unlimited. Mr. Unlimited. Now he comes back to the X. Dude, this should be.
That's like a Thanksgiving backyard casual drop back.
Hit that right now. Right now. This guy can't get there. So he would take the inside fade. It's become 3D. It's become 3 week. Okay? Or no, it's just don't tell me they run it back to back. I mean, right now, get the ball to the hitch. I don't know if he was just trying to hit the option route, but he doesn't look over there. So watch when his eyes get over there. Now his eyes are on the option route. How can you see what the option is if you're not looking at it? So his eyes should go here, and he should stick this ball out there. 24 can't get there. Why are you going to come back to the backside receiver who's pressed? I mean, what the fuck is that? So I don't know if it's Nathaniel Hackett's fault or if it's Russell Wilson's fault. I don't know. I'm not in those rooms. But either they need to have a kill He needs to have the freedom to get out of his play, or he needs to do something else. But kind of sit there and look at the blitzer and then look around and, oh, shit, nobody's open, and throw it. Now, he gets 3 yards, which is better than what most people would do, most young quarterbacks, but he's supposed to be this Hall of Fame guy. Mr. Unlimited. Please tell me you've seen that video.
Yeah.
I'll try and find it. But anybody who can find the Mr. Unlimited video and put it in the chat, that'd be fantastic. I don't care because I don't cover the NFL. I don't need to have any objectivity. I fucking do not like him. And it's nothing about jealousy or anything. It has nothing to do with that shit. I don't have like a secret crush on Sierra. He's just corny as shit. Throws his teammates under the bus. Like,
hard agree on that one.
What do we got here? 3-week buzz on 3rd and 9. This is good coverage right here. But I don't know what you're looking. He sees the blitz. I don't know if he thinks the void's going to be there. But like right now, he's bodied this route. I mean, he's waiting for this to open up. I mean, if you're going to bring this guy, how do you think the coverage is going to balance out? What do you think is going to happen if this guy goes and this guy doesn't replace him? I don't know, man. Not good. He just blindly throws it over there, too. Look at this. No, he looks. But he scans. So look at this. He scans from here to here. There's a dude right there coming down. Right there. Wow.
It's like there were a couple times where it was almost like he was trying to look off. Like the Titans would be in split safety, and he's trying to look off the safeties. And it's like it would. It's obviously you can't it's hard to psychoanalyze, but like it just seemed like he was sort of going through the motions as far as like scanning the field and just wasting a way more time than he had available. Like not really making reads, just like turning his head.
Absolutely. This makes me so happy. I know they give up 14 here, and it's not well done, but I just love seeing this in the NFL with too high behind it. What we did was we would slant, and then this guy would take the back. Unless he flared that way, then the blitzer would take him. And then we put the corner. If it's 2 by 2, it'd be cover 2. So if this guy flared, we would keep him on him, and then we push between these two cats with these two guys. So for you wide Singer 5Jan fans in here, they basically do the same. I guess it's really the same thing, except I don't know why the corner's sticking out so far. I guess it's their palms deal. Maybe it's quarter half. I've not seen the splits with quarter half. I've seen it as Tampa. I've seen it as quarters. I've seen it as halves, but I've yet to see it as quarter half like this. So just thought that was interesting. All right, moving on. -1 yard. We got a 4-3 alert. Looks like half a tilt. They try to run power again. If first you don't succeed, try and get fucked up again. I'll blow through this. Yeah, they know it's see. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on Nathaniel Hackett. They're lined up in under. Okay, so this is an under call. This is under. And they know before the ball's even snapped, because in YY wing, so the rules in fronts like these is when you get under and you get a pair of wings, is you shove the front over, right? So this is your nose, this is your tackle, this is your end, this is your Sam, this is your Jack or your Will, whatever you call your inside backers, right? And then you get a 4 down front. You would, if they lined up like this, then the tackle would be here, the nose would be, the tackle would be here, the nose would be here. But look how they're already sliding. He's telling them to slide before this guy even motions. Look at his demeanor. No. So here's a good question. If you're running that as a creeper, would it be better to have 2 off the edge? So let me go back. All right. So pause that. Actually, I'm going to finish this play and I'll go back to it. So this is not a good look to run anything into, and they know it's coming. Film study, let's ride. I don't give a shit. It's corny. I fucking love saying it. I'll say it. I'll be like by myself in the house, and I'll be like, I started this Factor. Shout out to Factor 75. I'm doing this keto diet thing, and their meals you get refrigerated. I'm like, sun-dried tomatoes and zucchini noodles. Let's ride. And I'm glad that nobody's here to hear me say this. All right. So here's a question from Ryan Stafford in the chat. I would love to show it. If you're running that as a creeper, would it be better to have 2 off the edge? So here's the theory behind this. There is 2 off the edge. But the problem is they're matching the tight end. So, yeah, no. So this is supposed to be like a run blitz, right? So the way that we ran it, the 5 jam stuff, is we would go here, and this guy would come off the edge because this is a mixed down call. So we have to defend the run first. But they slide to it and pick it up. I mean, it's really tough. What should happen is this guy right here fucks it up. When they get this hard fan like this, he needs to come underneath that. Because this guy's going to stay on 93. You see the hole? You got to come across the face of that guard. Now, if you're defending the run and it's like zone read, you have 2 off the edge in the sense, right? Because this guy has to block down on the 3, which means he's coming off. There's your 2 off the edge. I know what you mean by like an odd presentation with literally 2 guys. The problem when you bring 2 guys off the edge is you really have to show it. There's no good way to hide it. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to like creep him down like he's coming and then bring both guys off the edge. But that's a whole odd defense. That's a whole different thing. So, but yeah, like the shake stuff from Greg Williams, the Georgia guys run it. A lot of people run it where you get odd front and they'll go like this. If that's what you're talking about, yes, it's great. I think I put that in my mint course somewhere, my tight front course. Anyway, thanks for the questions, guys. If you have any questions, keep them coming. And I'm sorry. I doubt he's still here, but Dev, who said cut the music off. I'm sorry, I was really abrupt. That wasn't cool of me, but no, I enjoy having something below my voice. It's not that distracting. That one song was, but like I'd rather do it. All right, we watch this play. All right, 3rd and 2. Here we go. Inside zone, 11 personnel. The Titans are going to play cover 1, play tight coverage. They choke the backer on the tight end. We'll watch it from the end zone. Is my remote charged up enough now? It's green. We're going back to the remote. Thank the Lord. Now I'm Mr. Unlimited. Who's Mr. Unlimited? No, now it's not working. Oh, yeah, here we go. Thank God. Thank you. So choking the backer, putting him up on the tight end, which forces him to down block, creates an insert. So in this situation, a lot of man-free coverages, what you'll see is 3-on-2 funnels, meaning these 3 guys would have these 2 guys, but because they're choking him, he will have this tight end, and then they'll funnel this guy, meaning 2 and 1. If he was to swing, he would take him and he would become the rat, and vice versa. That's what a funnel means, is you're funneling 2-on-1. It could be 3-on-2. If you look at some playbooks, 4-3 playbooks, you'll see a funnel is can sometimes be 4-on-3. So there's lots of different things there. Shit, sorry, I didn't want you to run. This is why I don't like shade techniques. Very easily this guard gets up. I'd much rather be here, be thick on this guy, and then if he tries to climb, now I can play the back door, which pushes the run out more, and I'm there. It's funny, the shade versus the 3 thing. If you watch college football, you never see a shade, unless you're talking about like odd fronts where they're like just slightly moving a guy.
Right.
I'm talking about like 4-down shade since like the days of Miami. Don't be a dick and send me some clip of Toledo and you're like, oh, you're wrong. So I will block you. All right. I've watched the Titans long enough now. 29 snaps in, James. As soon as I saw them lined up like this, I'm like, they're not playing cover 3. There's no way they're lining up like that playing greedy. You got Tampa. Again, push more strong. 51's got to sink. He's got to push more this way. The corner's now inside. So now this time they decide to. They saw they played it last time. They swung the back. They saw what I saw, and they said, "Well, let's push all these guys out here, and let's get a one-on-one game with a lot of space." You could also tell the split here is pretty wide. 39 does a good job. Even though he didn't have his chin strap buckle. At the end of the day, I'm still a high school football coach at heart. Just buckle your chin strap, guy. Eat some mud. Has to turn back to the swing. 0 gain. Gonna let it roll. Just playing good defense. I mean, just sound defense. Also, these plays are shit. It's just like Harry High School. Like, hey, let's put everybody to one side. Okay. They were short. Or they're going to adjust. Let's now throw it to the other guy. Like, there's no. It's right. like we're going to run this one thing, and then we're going to run the very obvious next thing that you're going to do. Because on this sideline, I'm telling you right now, as a defensive coordinator, when they're talking about these plays, they're like, hey guys, we pushed a 4x1 strong. We covered the shit out of it. Watch next time. They're going to try to hit the backside X. I even said, and I had seen this. I even said, I was like about that. Like, the thing you got to worry about is the backside. And they're like, all right, let's run a one-man route with no control, like nothing coming back over the top of it. It's very Harry High School. And 39 sees this. Now he's protected, so he can be crazy aggressive. Because if he runs the and go, he's got him.
Yeah, I mean, like, they don't have anything else. Like you said, they don't have anything else over on that side so that he can keep his eyes in the same direction. Like, he just has to immediately go one to check down.
All right, we got outside zone, wide zone to the tight end. We got a 9 technique. So this is where having a 9 technique is good. So a lot of times what you'll see, in my guesstimation, I don't know if the Titans call defense like this, but what I have noticed, and maybe it's just coincidence, where the back's away, they're in a 9. They're much more likely to be in a 9. Back to them, they're in a 6. I don't like this. Whatever's happening right here is not my favorite. It's not a great blitz. Like, you're gonna, like, if they're gonna zone this to the stack, right? They're on a wide zone. That's clogged. You know, do this. But a lot of the NFL, with all the shifts in motion, you got to dead call stuff. And you're like, run the blitz. Still flip the back. There's a lot more motions and shifts and all that stuff. All right, here we go. Super duper mug package. We're showing cover 0. 66-yard touchdown. All right, so this is inverted halves. So this is inverted Tampa. Corner's going to play here. This guy's going to be the middle read, meaning he's got 3 vertical. Curl player, half player, swipe player. And then these guys will probably push this way because it's 3x1 loaded this way. Don't tell me he didn't run the 3. Don't tell me the fucking Tampa runner didn't run with 3. Are you serious? Wow. All right, this guy didn't do his job. 24. He's got to go. He's got to sync with this. He can't just. I love zone coverages, guys. Love them. Love them. Love them. True zone coverages. Fantastic. I mean, this is embarrassing. Yo, rip by. I don't know what people call it now, but at Millsaps, we taught this to our head coach taught to the special teams guys. And we made them yell rip by. So you throw your hands up, you push your ass into it, and it's a 66-yard house call. Fucking A. No, it's okay, though, because he got the numbers. They're really important, James. He covered the numbers. That's the lesson is here. Got to cover the numbers. Let's see how they protect us. They flip 47 and 51. I think this is a 3-by-1 thing. I think the 3-by-1, he's over here, and 2-by-2, he's there. It's a guess. It's a hypothesis. Is it true? I don't know. Interesting. They actually slide away from the big guys this time. Don't see this a lot. Oh, they're 7-man protection. That's why. Got it. So they're running, some people call YT protection. Full slide this way. Back's going to insert tight end. Some people will run it where he's down and then he's out. Obviously, with the 9 technique, it makes more sense with the tight end to block out and him to help. I'm going to guess this guy's not a great pass rusher. I don't even know who it is. I can't even see the number, just from scheme-wise. And if he is, then that's a problem. But now because he's outside, the back will play inside out. He's going to rub right off the ass of the tackle. I was wondering, I was like, why are they bringing him? Why are they sliding the little guys? 7-man protection. Great rip by Court.
So what is that? That's not on 39 then?
Hell no. Wait, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, but look what happens. So it's supposed to be Tampa. So he's got the half, right? This guy doesn't roll with 3, so he's screwed. He's got to cover 3 guys vertical by himself. He's got to split these guys, so he's right where he should be.
Right. He falls down. He falls down, but
down the field with help from this guy.
Right.
Now, what should happen is, now this is Magic Land. This is imaginary Coach Vass on the board on a Tuesday night, drinking Red Bull and hanging out with James night. What I would say with this is, as soon as this guy blocks, you're going to push everything over, right? Because you got a guy sitting in the flat. So if he does like chip and go, you got it. So what should do is push, push, push. So I would have him play 3. I would have him wall 2. So push his middle read to 2. Because if you're going to block this guy, something's got to come back. So let him take that. Let him roll with 2. And then let him split 1 and 2. And when you're swiping like this and you don't see anything, you should fishtail this or turn and roll and run with it. What it looks like here is maybe he's the Tampa player and he's the hook player, but then he pushes out the 2, so I don't know why they would do that. But you see where that corner can play 3 down the pipe? You see what I'm talking about? So sit this guy in here, bring him for this guy, bring him for this guy, and then let him play more over 1 and 2. But now he sees this guy running free because I don't think they Tampa. Again, I don't know. This is all guessing. This is educated guessing. They stretch him. That's a good read by Wilson. I mean, that's a good play. Because that outside guy's not thrown to very much. And it's only usually versus cloud looks. So he recognizes it and does it. Anyway, all right, moving on. All right, I'm going to blow through these runs. 7 yards. We got 12 personnel, 1st and 10 from the 38. 3-by-1 set. The Titans are going to run quarters over quarters. You see this? See the YY wing adjustment? They don't go to a 9 technique, which I'm not sure why, but maybe it's because because the nickels. No, that's the weak safety down. This isn't cover 4, or unless they're screwing around with it. All right, it is cover 4. Okay, that makes sense. Well, that's why that happens. This is why tilt's good. See how the space? Oh, it's 4-2-5. That's why. Got it. I thought it was 4-3 personnel. My bad. My B. So even if it's quarters, it's 3-by-1. This safety's got to play this B. Yeah, fired. Again, I fucking loathe this. Loathe it. He's reached right now. Done. So now you have 2 gaps over here. 51's got to run his ass over here. And I know what some guys will say, well, if he plays over here, then 51 doesn't have that gap and he can go play over here. Yeah, okay. Let's see how that works out for everybody. He's able to cut everything back because there's nobody pinning the outside of the windshield wiper. When everybody blocks down, they get up. I don't know why they're nickel to 12, but they are, and they're going to keep doing it. Even though the Broncos are up 7-0. All right, here we go. 2nd and 3. We play 3 deep by the Titans. They motion back. Hand it off. 3 yards. Just watch from the end zone. See how 90's able to play that better now that he's in a G?
Yeah.
He's not getting his ass reached. He can get knocked back here. He cuts the play off. Now he gets reached late, but I mean, this is like they've already set
not because of his alignment.
Yeah, they set the edge. And if he's getting reached as a G, let me tell you what's going to happen when he's a shade.
That's true.
Here we go. No yard game. We got three blitz behind it. Might be a sim. It's hard to tell with the run game. Tight end wing. Nickel blitz. Here we go. It's just warmed my heart. Coach. There it is. 96 is entirely. Who is this?
Danico Autry.
God damn. He's got the special order Nikes with the cement in them. Look at this. And he still makes the play. How? This is what makes me laugh about the NFL. I know you got to play the boot, but Jesus Christ, if you're blitzing off the edge, cheat down a little bit. I mean, he still makes the play, but watch 93. God, they're getting knocked around a little bit inside. Watch 93. They're lucky they had that blitz called. If they didn't, whoop, cut back country. All right, let's see here. We got a play action pass, 2-man route. I know they pushed through. We got quarters. Let's see this. Quarters and upside blocks. There's nothing going on. Like also, this separation is wild. Great throw, great catch. And we have a first down by our guy on the sideline. Actually, that's a great speed turn. Watch a speed turn.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was gonna say.
Damn. Good stuff right there.
That's about the one. That's Roger McCreary. That's about like the one athletic trait that he's above average in is hip fluidity. He's got like the shortest arms of any cornerback drafted in the past, 5 or 6 years or something. But super smooth hips.
All right, this is tough. They get 5 to one side here. They get 2x2. They get 3 strong. If you got the drive coming and this guy comes back inside, that is really tough. So let's watch how they do it. All right, we got quarters here. Corner's sees one inside release. 2 is up the field, so they're going to switch this. Because you stay on your guy, but with this, once he makes an inside move, he's going to see that he's made an outside move, so these 2 are going to switch these 2. The backer's going to push to run 3. With the tight split, what you don't want to do is have your corner running into the boundary and leaving a lot of space. So what they're going to say is, okay, this backer's working off this tight end, but if anything comes back, with 3 away, you take 2 back all day. So this is now the new 2. He sees it. So now this corner and this safety have to double this tight end. And this is how you cover everybody. Nobody's open. Russell's got to cook. He scrambles, but for some reason they lose 10 yards, probably a holding call. It's a great job. Great job by the Titans. Those are not easy routes to match. Oh, yeah, right there. He humps him. He gives him the business. All right, 1st and 20 from the 42. 11 personnel, 3-3-5 personnel. So there's somebody they're swapping in that they're marking as a difference. Autry Pot, best player in NFL history. Don't really know what that means, but okay. Thank you for your contribution here. We welcome everyone. Okay, we have a fucked up Tampa drop. Okay, this is. Oh, it's drop 8. No, this is Tampa. I'm losing my mind. That's why you don't watch one player. Who is this?
Monty Rice.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so it's with fire zone. I'm losing my shit. I saw him run. And I saw this guy pop. I'm like, oh, it's Tampa. It's definitely not Tampa. Let's just whip into a screen. Good stuff right there. Autry will sack Rodgers 10 times Thursday. Okay. Fair enough. I'm sure you're not hating that. Some more quarters action, 3-by-1. They're poaching with the backside safety, meaning he's going to play 3 vertical, 3 sets down. He's going to get his eyes back to the quarterback. I don't even know what's happening. Oh, this is the old Peyton Manning route. This is freaking poetry right here. Scrambles, gets 5. Now there's another penalty, so now it's 2nd and 15. So what's the pass rush here? Dude must be so tired running around all game like that. All right, incomplete, 15-yard penalty, 11 personnel, 4-2-5 personnel for the Titans. I forget what the West Coast offense guys call it, but it's the CO or whatever branch. I can't keep it straight. Good coverage, incomplete, penalty, first down, Broncos. 1st and 10 now, 22-yard line. They're back to 12 personnel. The Titans are still playing nickel. Weak inside zone. Ball cuts out. Good defense. You will make it look easy too. Okay. These your fans? Is SM Ducky one of your guys?
I have no idea, but it seems like a Titans fan.
Yeah.
Welcome go out on a limb and say that.
Yeah. It's crazy. Just a bit outside. All right, let's take a look at this one. We got quarters again. They're playing this more like zone here. I don't really understand this route concept, to be honest with you. No idea what's going on here.
Yeah.
I'm not breaking this down. We're shit. All right, we got 3rd and 9, 11 personnel, 21-yard line. So we're hitting the high red zone. The dime are in Titans. The Titans are in dime. He said, I watch no flags film. I just don't comment. Not enough Autry left for him. So here I am shitting on him, and we got as big as we have. I apologize, Ducky. He just looked like he had a piano strapped on his back that one play. Maybe he slipped or something. This is crazy to me. Like this route, I mean, this is your red zone route. 3 verts, a guy running a deep crosser into somebody else, and then a back check late to the flat. I mean, yeah, no wonder no one's open. This is on Hackett. I mean, what do you expect him to do here? Just shitty fucking route designing. Okay, 66.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. See, this is what happens, though, when you do all this goofy shit. That happens. But I heard for him, like, getting hits, like, gives him extra power.
Oh, wow.
What I heard, yeah, it's the Wolverine blood. They take a knee, all right. Second half. It's 9:35. We're going to get through the second half in 25 minutes. Strap in. All right, here we go. 1st and 10, 25-yard line, 12 personnel. They're going to try to run power again. But no, they fake it and try to boot. The backside end doesn't bite. Is that Autry? I mean, he's in the right spot. I'm just saying, look at him run.
Hey, he's in his 30s. Give him a break.
Isn't Von Miller in his 30s? No, I shouldn't do that because I hate when people do that. I hate when people are like, Jerry Rice ran a 4.6. Autry should get Dupree's money. I like this. Get a little spice in the chat tonight. All right, here we go. 2nd and 10, 12 personnel. They're going to run weak zone, cut it out. Nice little play design. They get 5. Make it 3rd and 5. Thumbs up. There's the line. All hell's breaking loose.
Something I've noticed, the Titans run a lot of quarters in like the red zone and high red zone, and then like Tampa 2 and the opponent's side of the field. What about that? What about the field zone change would make the tendency?
The problem with cover 2, I'm going to try to find a snap of it. We don't have a real. Okay, here you go. So the problem with 2 in the red zone is this. Everybody runs corner routes because you don't have a lot of field, right? So you got to run corner routes, fade, stop, a bunch of other stuff. You have no overlap on the outside. So watch up top. See this hole?
Yeah, you can just get smashed
to
death.
Also, on this is 1st and 10 on the 30, so this is back a few plays. Okay. If you're down, especially in the low red zone, like the 14 or like 12 and in, like 12 to the 4, because as a corner, you say, all right, well, I'm going to play high to low, we'll rally up and make a tackle. Well, that's cool, but it's not cool when 4 yards is like 20 in the open field.
Yeah.
So you're trying to constrict space. Quarters is more of a clamping coverage. You're playing tight. You have to make throws in tight windows. Like, again, getting a 4-yard sit route in 2, you're giving that up to defend deeper stuff, right? If it's 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line, you don't want to give up 5 yards. You know what I mean? Like that's. Yeah. And this is one of the first lessons I learned on defense when I was at San Jose State was from my mentor was 5 yards down here is like 20 in the open field. He said it all the time. And so playing low to high, that's why you don't see a lot of cover 3 because you're playing coverages where you're having somebody hold off one zone and get another. Well, you just gave up 4 yards, easy 4 yards. At least make them work for it. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
no, that makes sense.
I lost my place. Did we do this play already? Yeah, we did this play already. Okay, here's the play around. All right, here's the zone. They pull the guy around. Autry had 10 pressures in this game. Did he really?
Yeah, he did. No, yeah, Autry's a really good pass rusher. Especially like he came over from the Colts and the Titans.
So awkward. I mean, just watch him run. It's so weird. That guy had 10 pressures?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm not saying he's not good. I want to
No, there are so many players like that like the way they play just is not aesthetically pleasing, and you'll try to evaluate them and it's like, yeah, they're a better player, but like just the way they look out there, it's like gotta deduct some points.
I just want to make it very clear. I don't think he's bad. I never said he just like that one where he's blitzing and he's like, and he still makes the play. You're like, how did you do that? Like, how did you do that? He's the best in the league. All right, relax, dude. Like, I was with you until that.
I think that's Danico Autry in the chat.
Yeah, is that his mom or his brother or his agent? Like, this is what's infuriating. So you run a pick route over here. He decides, nah, I'm going to come off it. And then he gets spun around like a top. Then he's going to run around and do his Russell Wilson bullshit, throw the ball down the field 30, 40 yards and get broken up. Like, these are all timing throws. And he doesn't I haven't seen him get the ball out on time yet. I haven't seen him get the ball. Hey, man, you know what? Listen, Ducky, I love fandom. I appreciate you coming in here and telling us like how you feel about him. Like, that's what's fun about these things. I'm not a big comparison guy. I think it's so much of stuff around the NFL is like, what does this matter? And then I realized like, oh, well, it matters because, these people, this is what they do, right? A lot of my friends are columnists and they're content creators and they have to have something to talk about, right? But for me, it's like, who gives a shit if who's the best guy on the team? Like, what does it matter? Like, yeah, if you're an agent, if you're trying to get this guy money, yeah, of course. But like, I talked to an NFL defensive coordinator this week for a while, or this weekend for a while. And I was like, we were talking about like comparisons, and I was like, he was talking about like them versus the rest of the league in a certain category. And I was like, what does it matter? Well, that's how we measure ourselves. Yeah, but like, who cares? Like, I mean, yeah, okay, we're third on defense. What does that matter? Vic Fangio was first in the red zone last year. He got fired. So, and I get you're like, I know you're probably sitting there going, what are you talking about? But I don't mean like you have to be good on defense, right? So let me kind of rephrase this. So you want to be good on defense, but this whole thing of like, oh, well, this team's in our division and they're third and we're fifth, so we got to beat them in the rankings. Like, no, you need to get better stats so you can play better. So, like, who gives a shit if you're better than the Bills defense or the Broncos defense? Like, worry about your own team. Like, why do you care? Like, yeah, if you want to, like, say, oh, how do we favor the rest of the league? Like, just to see kind of like, okay, we're doing this. How's everybody else doing? But it should be about, like, fixing your own issues, not, like, just comparing them. So, we're this rank. It's like, or like, oh, this player's better than this player.
It's surprising when you go and look at, like, going and looking through playbooks, the number of college coaches that have like a preamble for 10 pages about, we want to rank in the top 20 on third down, like all this stuff. It was surprising going through them, just how much focus is put on that, on statistics like that.
I know that, and I'm not saying like you want to look at rank where you are rated to. I want to also make sure, like, I phrase this correctly. Your measuring stick is who you go against, right? So I understand that part of it. Maybe I'm not explaining it well enough, but I'm talking about like, okay, we want to see where we are. How do we know we're good? Well, let's compare us to the rest of the NFL. Okay, we're sixth. Okay, so I can see that part, right? But I guess the part where I don't understand is like, well, we got to be better than the Niners. They're in our division. Like, oh, fuck, who cares?
Right.
You want to know what? Like, and a lot of stats don't matter. Like, red zone defense matters. But if you're not in the top 5, but your points per play or, EPA or whatever, is good, and the teams aren't getting in the fucking red zone, yeah, you need to know that, yeah, we probably need to improve when teams get down there, but also, like, when you say they're a worse like, what does it matter who's the best and who's the worst? It's like, oh, they're top 12 in defense. Well, our defense is 15, and, like, at some point, like, some of these rankings, especially amongst fans, I'm not talking about so much like in the league where you get paid to improve your rankings and things, like, all the hand-wringing about who's better than who, and is Tua better than Justin Herbert, and he's got like, who gives a shit? Like, I know it's fun to talk about, and that's fine. Like, if you're having arguments around the water cooler, but these guys then go on all these statistics and jerk off to all these models and fucking charts. It's like, who cares? Why does it? Who's the best? Who cares? What if they're both good? Like, I don't know. I'm off my soapbox. I'm not even making sense. Just ignore me. All right, cover one. Like, so here's the thing. They're running a pick play here, right? They're actually trying to pick for this guy, but this guy gets open. He's got him. He's got one guy between two. No, that's not good enough. It's not good enough that we pick the guy. Let's go back here where there's only one guy. That's the type of shit that is just like, fuck, man. Good. I mean, I'd say good defense by the Titans, but they let the guy open. I mean, that's where it's like,
yeah.
When you say, well, who is it that the Titans were good this game or the Broncos were bad? Well, it's a mixture. I mean, that play, they weren't particularly great. They left a guy, the number 1 read or the number 2 read on the play unblocked. The problem is this guy's like, oh, guy's not open. I'm going to take off and do my thing. And don't talk to me about the O-line. This is a 3-step concept. Ball should be out now. He's got a clean-ass pocket. He doesn't like the angle, and then this shit happens. That's just amazing how much they paid this guy. Somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to win a Super Bowl without an elite quarterback soon, and it's going to change the models of how things are done.
It's amazing how just, Jimmy Garoppolo, like if just a couple snaps went differently, I feel like the way that people talk about what level of quarterbacking you need would change so much. Like, it's like the fact that Jimmy G didn't win a Super Bowl. It's like, oh, so you can't win a Super Bowl with that level of quarterback. But yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. I think it's just get yourself into like the final 8 teams, and then it's a lot of just randomness.
These are the plays that drive defensive coordinators nuts. So this guy's got the D gap. He falls in the C gap. If the nickel fits out here, everybody's got their gap. It's a TFL. The nickel stops. Either the end's wrong or the nickel's wrong, depending on what. I don't know what they were told to do. We don't know. Because if you look at the nickel, he's thinking, I got the C gap. If you look at the end, he's thinking, I have the C gap. Who's right, who's wrong? Unless you're Shane Bowen or Vrabel or in the room, you don't know. And then that shit happens. That should have been a 1-yard gain. There's another run, 5 yards, 12 personnel. We got wide, 3-by-1 wing. They're on weak side zone again. I don't know what happened here. I don't care. I'm moving on. All right, 1st and 5. It must have been on the Titans. They looked awfully offsides in some of these plays. Or not awfully offside, close to being offside. So maybe that was it.
They had a couple lined up in the neutral zone penalties in this game.
Did you know that Autry's going to win you the Super Bowl?
Oh, wow.
Frankenstein. Oh, we got a little toss. Oh, there he is again, the best player in the league. Autry making the tizzle. I'm gonna go and next time I get invited, which I don't know if will ever happen again, but next time I go on Mean and Kindness podcast, I'm gonna be like, yo, I have a hot take. I was doing this Titans game, and SM Ducky told me that Autry is the best defender in the NFL, and I'm going to stand with that. And then I want to see how quickly she's like, I'm sorry, we're having audio issues. I'm going to have to let you go. I never hear from her again. Like, the Titans have a problem right now. The problem is they got 2 guys in the C gap, nobody on the edge. They're dead. They're dead right here. If what's his name just stays on this block, this is way more. I don't know why he decides like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. This is again, the defense screws up. They're out leveraged. Everything's good. You got a hat on a hat. Everybody's good. You got everybody sealed. You can actually block 56 with the nickel, just getting both their ways, right? They got him. They got to run all the way over the top. And he's like, no, I'm gonna let this guy go. And then he makes the tackle. Both of them. I'm serious. I like the commitment to it, Chris. I like the commitment to it. I'm gonna ruin my entire credibility by sticking with it. Like, yes, Robert Mays, host of the Athletic podcast. I also believe that Autry is the best player in the NFL, and just to see how fast I get roasted. Whip fire zone again. Not loving this. This is a boundary call. This is not loving this into the FIB. So you either want to, I would say, flip this blitz or kill it, because you're into a mass of humanity. You're bringing pressure into a tackle and a tight end and a receiver that's close. Then you're not getting home. And if it's a run, like just look at this. Look at the problem that you have. And it's your nickel? Yeah, I'm out of that call. I mean, look, imagine if they ran duo or zone here. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, get out of that. I don't enjoy watching this type of football. Maybe I'm just an old fuddy-duddy. Like, I just do not like this brand of run around, see if something happens. Because it's not like he's not fun. Like, it's not like Justin Fields or Mahomes where you hold your breath. And I know I'm comparing it to, like, 2 freaks of nature talent-wise. But, like, he's, like, spastic, run around, and then just huck the ball up. And it falls flat. Like, I want to see him, like, throw it between his legs or take off. and run. And he's doing it. The thing that he's doing it is he's doing it when guys are open too. I think that's the annoying part. He's doing it when he doesn't have to. I like a little weak sides, wide zone a little bit. Try to get some push here. God damn! Watch this. Yeah, 56. Oh no! Oh no! Who said the Broncos line sucks? Are they not good at pass protecting? Is that the deal?
They're out there left tackle, Garrett Bowles. I think he's injured.
Thanks, Donovan. Sorry, real quick. He's saying bye. Yeah, thanks, Donovan. I know it's long. Check it out. Just mark on your thing. An hour and 45 minutes in. You can come back and finish it tomorrow. We had a lot of plays. I don't know if we're going to get to this. I'm going to skip around here in a little bit because we're getting toward the end.
Yeah, go through and find. They did a cool cover 2 rotation where they went from 2 high to 1 high to 2 high.
I appreciate Ducky. He's calling everybody else Autry haters. I'm the one that made fun of him. And Ducky has held his shots against me. I thought he was going to come in here and be like, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. Autry's the best. But, like, totally just let me slide. So, I stand SM Ducky. All right, I'll try and find it. We'll just go through some of the passes. All right, here's another whip fire zone. They're so good at these disguises, man. That's so good. Great coverage here. Great coverage. Everyone. Now, this is not on Russell. This is not on Russell. This is not on Hackett. This is great defense. It just is. Like, these are the clips I love, where, like, it wasn't some dumbass read. Like, Russ has got, I mean, he should hit this, but he's not looking. So what is he going to throw? What, is he going to throw the ball to his ear? You know what I mean? By the time anything is open, I mean, this guy maybe is open. He's already got the world caving in on him. He tries to get out, -1 yard. I mean, that's no one's fault. That's just good defense. I love this. I don't know why he's releasing that fast. Like, that, you're not gonna block this guy doing this happy horse shit. Whee!
Just coming in there with his hair on fire. 51, David Long has some electric pass rushing moves. They've been blitzing a little bit more this year now that they don't have Harold Landry, and it's been fun watching David Long's moves.
Absolutely.
He had Quentin Nelson in a blender a few times, which is becoming less and less impressive to beat Quentin Nelson. But
is he falling off?
Yeah, I think he's injured. I don't like to, talk too much shit on injured guys, but I think he's working through something. Or he just got his contract and chilled out. But I doubt that.
Maybe it's just like this whole thing's been a shit show, and it's just like you just spirit. All right, somebody asked in chat where I coach. I'm going to go through this real fast. I was a student assistant at the University of Miami. I was a graduate assistant at San Jose State. I coached at Los Altos High School, all Northern California. Los Altos High School, Gilroy High School. I coached semi-pro ball. Then I went and took a job at Hartnell College. It was JC. I was an adjunct there. Then I worked as a I went and coached at Millsaps College. That's where I worked with Rich Scangarello. That's where this gang hate comes from, because he was a piece of shit to me and everybody. It wasn't just me. I decided, like, I'm good on this. I moved back to the Bay Area. I coached at St. Francis High School, and then I went to Sarah High School, home of Tom Brady, where most of my stories and good times come from. I was there for 5 years. And then I moved to the Valley in Clovis, the worst decision I ever made in my life. Coached at Clovis High for 2 years. My mom passed on Christmas morning 2019. So I decided to move home to Orlando. I was going to sub here and maybe coach here and kind of figure some stuff out. And then COVID happened. So I just started doing this. This whole thing took off, and I've just been doing it since. So that's where that's my kind of my brief history. I'm a graduate at Autry College. I'm actually having fun with this. I think it's the commitment to the bit that is making this so fun. Like, he's just sticking with, like most guys would be like, all right, cool. But he's just like, you know what? That's it. We're doing it. Yeah. So that also is the caveat here is I'm just some guy with opinions. These is no by the way, the right opinion or the wrong opinion. I'll be the first one to tell you I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people have said, oh, who are you? What did you do? Just fair. I have a lot of really cool friends that teach me a lot of stuff, and I've been very lucky to network well when I was younger and have friends all over the coaching world, and it's led to some really fun conversations, some really good experiences, including Nick Saban coming in on me as I was explaining a triple option package we ran to the Alabama defense staff. Some wild stories. Here's nickel pressure again. They're running a quarter half again. Again, I've not seen this. I like the sprinkle. Usually it's just halves across the board. And it turns out to be almost like 3 cloud. How wide this guy is, how he's pushing to the middle of the field, which is strange. I think he pushes because it's very strange. I have not seen this. Because it's 2x2. So they're rotating. It's kind of strange. I don't know. I find this interesting. And then this shit. So, I mean, like, I don't understand this. For play action, they bring the nickel. This is on Paul Hack. Oh, is this a screen? Oh, it's a screen. All right, dude, throw it. Throw it. At least throw it at his feet. Like, dude, you can't run around. If these guys are past the line of scrimmage, like, what are you doing? Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Yeah, I met Coach Pruitt when I was at Sarah. I was transitioning from Sarah to Clovis. I went and visited, struck up a friendship with Brian Niedermeyer and kept talking to him and hanging out. And we've talked over the years. A lot of the college guys, and pro guys, pro guys less so in the offseason, they'll DM me and be like, dude, I love that tweet, or I don't agree with what you said there, or whatever. But they won't do it publicly. So like a lot of these guys, like I've gotten calls, I'll post something and 10 minutes later, like, you know, I'll get a call from an SEC defensive coordinator. And obviously I can't come online and be like, well, somebody's like arguing with me. And be like, well, the guy that invented this shit, he agrees with me and you're wrong, because I'm not going to out people. Like, right. I'm sure if you pay enough attention to what I've done and like people I've talked about that I'm friends with, you can piece together what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to be like, Glenn Schumann from Georgia just called me. I mean, people know we're friends. I go visit him every year. I talk to him a ton, especially during recruiting. The coach I coach JV at plays Sarah tomorrow in the semis. Tomorrow? They play tomorrow? Are you thinking about a different Sarah? Tomorrow? Wednesday? You at Salinas, Charles? All right, so this is their diamond look. All right, so back to live action. So they're creating a bear front. Belichick has called this diamond. I don't know what they call it. They're mugging this guy up to protect, but basically they're gonna have to 5-0 this meeting. They're gonna have to go 5 down. Oh yeah. I still help them out from time to time. Not much this week, but stop, Ducky. No, don't do that. Don't make fun of it. Come on, man. You were doing so well. So you can see it here. They're still trying to half slide this. I don't know if they don't think long's coming. But this is a recipe for a coffee house. For those of you who don't know what a coffee house is, why it's called that, I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe Bill Belichick was listening to Lisa Loeb one time and was like, this will be a cool name for this. But basically, like, you're going to bail and then go. You're trying to half slide a clearly bare 5-0. This should be a 5-0 call, which is basically these guys have the 5 down, back is coast to coast, and then the tight end will have this guy if he blocks, and if he doesn't, if he goes out, then 47's got to cover him. He's wide open. Yeah, thanks, Duck. I love having you here, and I love the enthusiasm. You've put a smile on my face tonight, but let's just be cool. All right, I'm going to play my favorite song, which is happening right now of the whole stream. I usually pause for this because I love it. It's festive and fun. If you don't like the music, then F you. Let me turn this up a little bit. Hope I don't get a copyright strike on this. A negative 1 yard run. Watch the end zone here. I love this song. I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck they're saying. God, it's fun. All right, I'm not watching that. 10-yard run. Draw. See, this is rush lanes. That's not good. I wish, well, I don't wish because I coach defense and help defensive guys. But I wish more people ran 3rd and 1 sneak. I'm going to skip the sneaks. I wish more people ran draws, especially out of under center. So they're so hard. A well-run draw. Like I watched a team this week play some beer, and they run like a cutback, kind of like a half-roll draw. And what it does to you inside on 3rd down, if you can hit it once or twice, it's ridiculous. It screws you up inside. When Autry isn't in, everything goes to completion. Yeah, man, sorry. I'll try to find the Autry play to keep you focused. It just destroys you up front. You're so hesitant to like do a bunch of things, and especially if you twist a lot on 3rd down. Like if you hit the wrong twist, like that one.
Yeah.
That's why if I'm seeing a draw team, so I'll tell you this for you guys here that are like coaching and game planning. My favorite stunt versus the draw. Draw I'm not too worried about. It's this one. It's just up and under, hold, make sure it's not a run, and then you get to contain. Now, if you have a slow guy here, and you're like, I don't know, something where you get double threes, walk the mic up so they man block everything, and then you run that twist. You can run it to both sides if you want. At least this guy's not having to come from a G all the way out here to contain. But try to mess up. Because the hard part is, I mean, why does draw work, right? Easy. These guys come up the field, these guys go back, and then there's these horizontal lines or space in here that you run into where once you, I would love to know the scientific reasoning behind this, James. Stick with me here and you think if I'm on to something. I would love to know the scientific explanation or like the line of demarcation where gaps no longer matter because you're so far back that that guy can get up through and cut out. And it's like, oh, I have the B gap, but you're 10 yards off. You don't have the B gap. Like that guy's going to get through the B gap. You're not going to be able to get there. Like I wish there was a study on like what's that yard line? And I'm sure it would depend on the person and the speed of the back and everything. Those are the analytics I'm interested in. Can I make an analytics comment here? I'm learning more and more what analytics people do. And to be honest with you, most of it is just stuff coaches used to do.
Yeah, that's why it's so weird. Like I'll hear sort of from the other direction, like I'll hear coaches talk shit on analytics and it's like, I mean, do y'all not like scout tendencies and like
it's not that's not that part of the shit talking. It's the fact that like some of these analytics guys, how do I say this?
Oh, I completely understand about like the
well, I don't want to say it because I have some friends that are in analytics and I've just talked to. There are some guys in analytics that don't know a lot about football, and the fact that a coach, and it's on the coach too. It's easy to say, well, we followed the analytics. We were wrong, but the data took us here. So we just follow the data, right?
Right.
From my perspective, that has been with those guys, that have talked to them, that do know, and again, this is going to sound really bad because I'm not talking about the people I'm actually friends with. It's the people that are adjacent. They don't know shit about football. And also, what I don't understand is people will say, oh, well, it's 70% go for it or kick it, or just go for it. 69% says kick it. 1% is really going to make that, like you kick a 1% different than anything else in the world. You're not going to say, well, shit. You're going to put your $7 million salary a year on 1%.
Yeah, I feel like going for it, just like fourth down decisions are kind of overrepresented aspect of analytics, just in terms of like the conversation. I feel like there's kind of a lot more that goes into it. But yeah, I mean, I totally get what you're saying. It's like, if I was a head coach and I made a decision that, like, heading into the post-game interview, I'm like, I don't think I really stand behind that. I would be like, yeah, well, our model told us to do that, and it didn't work out. But
and maybe they do believe in it, but then I have questions about. Here's the thing about the models: they don't account for everything, and people say they do. They don't. I've asked this time and time again, and I've only got one answer. It was from Seth Walder, is his name, at ESPN?
Yeah.
I've asked, if your go for it or not model, does it include the skill of the guy calling the plays? If the answer is no, then your model sucks. Because I've watched in situations where allegedly Brandon Staley was told to go for it because the analytics told him so. And I've watched, and I know I've said this play a million times, and I've used this example a million times, but I'm going to stick with it, is they're going to throw hitches against the Ravens, which have been a cover one team for 15 years since Mike Nolan took over from Marvin Lewis. And they're going to run hitches to their fifth best receiver against the Ravens' #1 corner, press man team, on their own 35. Furthermore, 2 quarters later, they're going to run the same play when they're backed up even further. If your analytics model doesn't account that you have Joe Lombardi or give you credit for having Andy Reid, how can you have a fucking model that they're going to put your $8 million a year salary on? You're going to put your $8 million salary on a model that doesn't include the skill of our play caller? I don't know, man. Like, and here's the other thing about the analytics. The problem with the analytics is people look at things in a vacuum. So football has lost, especially in the NFL. Football has been a game about keeping it close and then trying to get a break at the end if you're down. When you do this shit, like the Ravens game, when they didn't get it twice, the game's over. Ravens got both forced a turnover on downs both times and scored. It was 21-0 before you can blink, and the gap is so wide you have no chance to come back. Very rarely do you. And they didn't. They got bludgeoned. It got worse because then you're chasing. And that was the what's the word I'm looking for? The wisdom, the help me out here. I feel like a fool. The wisdom, like the general wisdom of coaches. Like Chris Peterson from Boise said, we don't go for 2 until it's the 4th quarter. And I'm not talking about like ever. I'm talking about if you're down by 8 and you score a touchdown. We try to hold this off because if you don't get it, now all of a sudden now it's a 2-score game. And you want to, but you're arguing with people that don't believe that momentum is real,
right?
And I know that maybe it doesn't show itself in the data, but how many times have we seen it where these teams come back? It's human nature to be like, this game's over.
And even there was a great episode of the Athletic Football Show where they had Sam Schwarzenstein on. And he was saying like a lot of the 4th down calculators or whatever, like Ben Baldwin's, for example, are way more advanced than the models that the coaches have access to in game. So like they'll have these fully fleshed out advanced models that they might consult with throughout the week in their preparation. But in game time, if their left tackle's out, they're not running wide zone left. Like, and so I think the thing is coaches do take, like, I don't think there's any coach, at least in the NFL, that's just, and at least, in my opinion, that's just like fully, 51-49, we're going with the 51. I think like they all take that sort of stuff into account. And so,
the problem, especially with Staley, is when it didn't work, instead of being like, well, you try some things and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes we need to evaluate the situation. It was, no, we're going to be aggressive no matter what. It doesn't matter. And like, it's good to have a philosophy, but if your philosophy is not malleable, it's bad.
Yeah.
I have never seen a football team win a Super Bowl with some crazy ass, like, rigid philosophy. Never. That is why offenses, I don't want to get in the whole thing, but that's why offenses like the air raid, the original, not the fucking edited version. But when it comes to big games and big situations, the pure form of it falls flat is because if you're going to do something no matter what, you will find somebody more patient, especially on defense, that will sit there and they'll take their chances and they'll take their chances. And then what do you do when someone sells out to stop you and they have the talent to do it? What's your plan B? I asked, and it's also that same reaction. So going back to Leach. So when Mississippi State was playing LSU in 2020, this one always stands out in my mind. They fumbled or turned the ball over 3 series in a row. They weren't running the ball. And I dared to ask, they just had Joe Moorhead, who had a bunch of tight ends in the game or at the program, and they were still there. Stick one of those guys in and run zone. Have that in your package. Well, that's not what they do. Well, it looks like right now turning the ball over is what they do. I'm not asking for some crazy ass like run the triple option, or I'm saying simply like at some point do you say, we need some sort of zone or some sort of jet sweep, perimeter, like throw a bubble, but he's like drop back passes up like they almost lose the game. And LSU was so bad that year, they didn't come back and they didn't win. And then people are like, see, it worked. And I'm like, yeah, but it didn't work. Like, and the last thing is, the people are selling you this shit. Like the analytics people, like the hardcore is like a death cult. Just like these hardcore air raid people, it's like it's air raid or nothing. Anytime in life, I shy away from that stuff. The problem for analytics is the people selling it the hardest that have profit to make off of it. Also, a lot of them don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I had Eric Eager from PFF tell me I didn't know anything about sports, specifically football. He said he deleted the tweet.
I remember that.
But he said I didn't fundamentally understand football. And I said, like, well, let's go coach a team and see what happens. Like the fact that there's like analytics Twitter versus eye in the sky Twitter or whatever the fuck they call it now is ridiculous. These people, because they have a product to sell and they have an angle to sell, have outsized their influence so much. No one gives a fuck about your scatter point plot. No one cares with any sort of decision making in the NFL. If we are first versus fifth and passing and there's some dot and Josh Allen's up the far right, no one gives a shit. We don't have Josh Allen. Nobody's like, oh my God, how do we get to the edge of the scatter plot? You have people that are trying to create a niche for themselves, outsizing, like you said, outsizing their influence. Because what's the thing? Never trust a man to, or never expect a man to convince you of something he's paid to not want you to know. Like, I screwed up the quote. But
I know what you're getting at.
You're selling subscriptions based on analytics. Of course you're going to say that analytics are important. I don't have a dog in this fight. I coached. I still help teams out. It's part of my business. Yeah, analytics is a piece of it. But here's the thing. People try to buck trends on purpose. So relying on the data, like I did that. I relied on the data too much. And I would go through games and I'd be like, well, it says they're 80% run on first down. Well, yeah, but they just threw the fucking ball on the first 5 first downs. So what am I going to listen to? Like, that's the thing that, like, I saw Tej, and I like these guys, but like Tej said something like, well, when you depend on your eyes to make a decision, and I'm like these guys don't know the game. Like, if they knew the game and did this, but so many of them don't understand football. They couldn't tell you how to block a play, but they're going to tell me, they understand the play. And I'm not using a straw man, like, or an ad hominem attack or whatever, where I'm saying, well, you don't know anything about this, so you can't talk about this. But analytics is one piece of the puzzle. It's one very small piece of the puzzle. If you don't know how to teach someone something, all the data in the world doesn't fucking matter, right?
Yeah.
You have to know how all this works inside and out. You have to know the pluses and minuses. And it's real easy to be like, well, this is how you attack cover 2. This is how you attack this. Well, how do you build a play when you play a team that runs 4 different coverages? And how do you build your sights and your hunt if they blitz? And these guys couldn't even tell you what that means. But they're trying to tell me that I don't understand the game. It's like,
yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
And I also can't sit here and be like, well, such and such team called me last week and asked for my opinion on something. That just happens to be one of the best defenses in the NFL. The defensive coordinator, not some QC, not some fucking crumb grabber. No offense, I was a GA, but the defensive coordinator of an NFL team. I can't do that. I can't go out there and be like, well, because you look like an asshole, even if it's right. You look like a flaming douchebag. You look worse than they do. So I just smile through it and laugh and be like when the one guy said, oh, do you even watch TCU? I'm like, what? Like, I've got every TCU game that Gary Patterson's been in the last 20 years on my huddle. Like, what are you talking? Like, just crazy shit. And I just used to let's laugh through it. Anyway, yeah, the whole thing with some of this stuff is just it's incredible. But then you have the meatheads that are like, we don't like numbers. There's the other side of it. And it's like, yes, you do. But where this whole conversation started is a lot of what those guys do is all based on stuff that they used to do. Like one of the analytics guys I talked to, they do like reactive play calling. So what does the team do after they throw the ball in first down? That's shit I used to do. Mm-hmm. So they're replicating they're looking up plays. They're like, hey, can you find a cut up of one of the guys I talked to was like, who was it? I don't remember the receiver, but it was like, find me every clip where Deebo Samuel winds up in the slot. It wasn't that, but it was something like that. Like it was somebody that usually lined up outside, but when he came inside, they wanted a cut up of all that. That's a GA job. That ain't no analytics guy job. But that's what those guys are doing in the NFL.
You're right.
And like, what's the statistical? It keeps people with PE degrees from doing math, basically, is what it does, which is good. But like, these people think they like fucking are the reason the game is played. It's insane. I'm sorry, I went on a super long rant. By the way, I know it's late. If you gotta go, you gotta go. That's not a great run. I'm gonna blow through this stuff. There was a sick ass rotation. It's this. They showed 3 weeks. The problem is this guy's doing Hollywood shit. We would tell this guy like this, like no Harry High School, where he's like down and kind of hopping around.
Right.
And shit. You want to line up here and kind of act like you're walking down, like I'm fucking caught me, and then bust out. I know he ain't coming down. Look at him. Oh, this would have been a great fit. Coming down the line, inside to kick out. So you get somebody inside to kick out, somebody outside to kick out, which how you defend these plays. And you got a guy rolling back to it. So he hands that off. It's almost better that it happened the way it did.
Yeah.
Nobody got crushed. All right, 3rd and 13. Here we go. Got a little 3D. Probably going to be 3 buzz. Yes, sir. No, actually. They're doing this shit where they're playing. Okay, I see what they're doing. Wait, what? Hold on. So they're playing 3-week ball. Oh, this is cool. So I've done this before in high school. So, and when you talk about playing defense in high school, it's shit like this where you see guys like come and press and the guy stacked behind them and all this stuff. So what they're doing is they're playing 3-week buzz, and they're saying basically this guy ain't gonna hurt us. It's 3rd and 13. He hadn't done shit all game, but we're gonna jack this guy up, take some speed off him for the corner, and then we'll kind of play the flat late because this guy has usually been stepping up and swinging, or stepping up and then going out. You haven't seen a lot of swings. And this is the tertiary, that's the right word here, benefit of all the mugging shit. I know they're not doing it now, but the benefit of doing all that is this guy now has to be more of a blocker. And they're thinking, hey, listen, the Titans are doing all this funky stuff. Let's not get our guy free releasing. Let's get him in there. Let's run 2-3 jet. Let's keep him in there on a check rather than let's run scat protection and try to beat it. They've already showed when they're trying to pick up blitzes, they're not going to beat it with getting guys out fast. Now, you might ask yourself why. Denver has a lot of good athletes. They have some good backs that would be back there on hot routes. James, do you have a guess as to why they're not doing that?
Fill me in.
Sorry, I put you on the spot. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, I was messing with my charger. Fill me in on that.
Because this asshole won't throw it. He sees a blitz and he's like, "Oh, I'm Mr. Unlimited. Check out my new sub," and he's fucking throwing ducks back here.
Yeah.
There's no point. So it's like, all right, well, let's keep him in because, yeah, you can beat it if you're playing Tom Brady or some shit like that. No, I'm not saying on 3rd and 13. That's a different story throwing this way. I'm just saying in general. Brady's like, here's the 2-yard route, here's the 3-yard route, because eventually you're going to miss a tackle because our NFLPA doesn't allow us to hit more, and eventually you're going to miss an open field tackle, and you'll be right. Does another one of these. I mean, these receivers must be just so fed up. 1st and 10. Here we go. 12 personnel, -1 yard. They're trying to run outside zone. They fumble the snap. Mr. Unlimited. 2nd and 11. We have an 11-yard completion. I'm only going to stop it if something cool really pops out. Playing quarters, Boach on the backside. They throw a screen. Get the running back open. There's how you get him to throw the back. You call a screen. By the way, what's the score here? You know what's wild about this? And I've had this kind of gut feeling about it. Is they're defending these guys like they're up by 3 scores.
Yeah.
It's what even like in the first quarter, I looked at the scoreboard. I was about to say, oh, they must have a big lead. But I was like, let me check before I stick a foot in my mouth. And it was 7-0 Broncos. Like they're just like, dude, whatever, dude. This is 12 personnel too, and they're in double 3 tank. This is wild. Nice block by 66. 1st and 10. Got a little 3 buzz action coming with the cut splits. Oh, they brought the nickel, so it's not 3 buzz. It's 3 sky. Now they brought him inside. So this you'll see this a lot in the NFL. Here's actually an interesting point that's just not me ranting. Is some teams in condensed sets, instead of bringing the guy outside, if it's condensed, they'll bring him inside. Because to bring him outside, they'd have to line him up out here, which is not where you want to be. So this is why you're seeing more of those inside blitzes. This is poor play design. Who's he supposed to throw to? This guy that's not looking for the ball. This guy that's not looking for the ball. This guy standing out here with his ass to him. This guy who's barely outside the tackle. There's nowhere to go. That's just... And that's why the Titans are running those sims. Is they get the effectiveness, or they get the effect of the pressure without
devoting the resources.
Losing the guy underneath. Yeah. That's not on Russ. I was actually just as interested to watch these guys play on offense to see, like, because you keep hearing all the stuff about Russ. And don't get me wrong, there's been some bad shit, but also, like, how much of it's true. All right, here's your Tampa beater. Get the ball to the back late. Not much you can do there. 4 verts with a bag checking late on 2nd and 19. They get 9 yards. Now it's 3rd and 10. We actually have a 5-man pressure here. Third and 10, they reload from empty. Oh, this is beautiful. So they don't get a man zone tell here. So they don't move. Oh, it's not a blitz. Fucking PFF, man. It's cover 1. It's 1 cross.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they charted as 5 rushers, but 53 when the back doesn't go out. The back cut blocks, lays on the ground. So yeah, 53.
That's not a blitz.
Yeah.
I mean, you could call it 5 rushers if you wanted to, but it's definitely not a blitz. So how do they deal with this? They slide to the bigs. They bring the back across. This is criminal. There's nobody over here. Why would you slide this way with the tackle? Slide these 4, have him cut inside out, and put this guy on the end. I mean, that's somebody should be fired over this. What are you sliding to, dude? Why is 77 bumping all the way out? There's no nickel pressure. So right now, there's only 3 threats. They got it covered. He takes the looper. They can't loop more than one guy. And he sets back. He can set inside and stay. He could set inside and stay vertical and look over there. But this is terrible. This is bad coaching. Now you're giving up your back. So now they can add the 5th guy. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
let me see the wrong concept here. 4 verts with a guy or a deep out, whatever that is. Nobody's short. So it's 3rd and 10, but no release in case you get man, right? So the first thing when you're constructing a play like this is, what if we get man? What if we get blitz? Who's he going to throw to if he gets blitz? That guy? That's way the hell out there. Like, what is this tight end doing? You're going to throw it to him where he's got 2 high safeties, where he's going to get basically doubled. It looks like he's getting doubled. Sit his ass over the middle. Do something. Give him some sort of release valve. This is bad play design. Also, it's 3rd and 10. It's not 3rd and fucking 50. So you got a guy at 5 yards and then all these guys down the field. I guess he's breaking in. Great. Your tight end. Great. And he doesn't think it's man because nobody moves. Wow. Tampa, switch routes. Ooh, I don't know how he sees this. Oh, he's looking back. So you'll see him. He'll open to the passing strength. He gets his eyes back to Russ. He doesn't see anything coming. He gets his eyes back to Russ, so he's going to turn. And if he catches that, he's about to get a face full of shit. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. 9's like, thank God I dropped that. He was about to get cleaned up. 76 is bad, man. Stances all look at how wide his feet are. He reaches, he's got his head down.
Yeah, I think that's why Danico Autry had 10 pressures.
Is that Autry right there?
Yeah. Like Autry uses his length really well, and as a
I think I bored our man SM Ducky with no talk of Autry for more than 5 minutes. I'm sorry. Penalty. So still 14-10. The Broncos are still in striking distance. I just see a lot of wrong with this. Everything is deep. There's nothing. You're down by 4 points, man. There's 7 minutes left in the game. Like, what are you doing? Just something simple. Besides it being somebody running a 5-yard in. I mean, look at what route concept is this? I'm going to send 2 guys vertical and just kind of run him inside. I mean, I guess he's open, but also your protection has to tie it into your or your place has to tie to your protection. If you can't protect for long, sending 3 guys 25 yards down the field ain't gonna help anybody's ass. Autry walks him back. Great coverage. Like getting some of them bunch routes, some snug routes, run some intermediate shit. This is just brutal. 3rd and 15. Let me guess. Everybody's gonna run. Now he dumps it to the back. Great. Dude, look at this. Look at these. Look at the space in here. God damn, this is horrible. And I don't want to hear, oh, so and so's out. They don't have any bullshit. This is bad design. Also, I haven't seen him go on too much. So every time he taps that guy, he snaps the ball. Also, all right. Let's talk about pass pro for a second. You're keeping the tight end in the chip. Okay. You've got double 3 technique, wide 3 techniques. Move your ass back. Molly, that's what they call it. Sit back, look for work. You got a 4-2 slide here now. 4-on-2. Now he ends up working back into this guy. But leave all your guys on islands on 3rd and 15. Great. You got 9 yards. All right, 2 minute. Oh. You got soft quarters here. They run the play. I can never remember the name of. Also, like, they've been eating these routes up all night. So this is the other thing is they run this play 3 times. They've ate it up every single time. And they've run the same routes. They've run the corner by the inside guy. Like, at some point, do you run the 6 with it? The dig? You run the dig, you snap the dig off, or you run the post and try to cross his face. They keep running out to where they're doubled. Every time. And it's mirrored routes. Look at this. Mirrored to both sides. It's unbelievable. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Titans are playing this stuff well, but they're also – this is bad offensive design now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Russ is holding the ball. There's nobody open. Believe me, I'll criticize Russ when it's time to criticize Russ. I'll be at the front of the line like this ain't his fault. Don't tell me they're running the same routes. Now they run some spacing. All right, good. There you go. You're down by 7. How much time's left? 2:41. You got no timeouts, but still, 1 timeout. You're still all right. Move this chains. Get your ass out of your own side of the end zone. Keep it moving. All right, here we go. Apparently, this is cover 1. Yep. Titans love cover 1 on 3rd and short, 3rd and 5. The number 1 call. Now they run drive. They get 4 to a side. Nobody's open. All the routes are like they're running slant. Like they're running slants in the cover 1. Like, this is fantastic. Put your fastest guy right here. Put your tight end here. Get him on the edge. They're running inside. They're running hitches and curls against cover 1. Nobody's open. He doesn't throw it to the back. Right now, everybody's covered. Sling it to the back. He's got a lot of space. Try to make something happen. He looks around, runs around. He stops. Gets absolutely obliterated. Throws the ball up. Jesus, man. This is bad. This is about as bad as it gets. Play designs. What I don't understand about the NFL is, if I was some shitty play caller, here we go, 4th and 5. Just do whatever Mike McDaniel does, or do what. I mean, I know they don't have those receivers, but at least have because the problem is the talent and the concepts are bad. Like, at least have good concepts and be like, well, they just covered us. I mean, this is just shitty. Oh, look, they threw it to the back against man and he got outside. What a shocker. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, I'm going to talk about this one, as I just realized people are doing this. So, you know the double A gap mug pressures? Where they're reading the center? Now they're doing it on the guard. So these two are going to go. Whatever one he blocks, he's going to go. He's going to drop. That's the new one. This is the new double A gap mug pressure. You heard it here first, kids. Nobody else has ever talked about this. Flushes them. 96 gets the shit held out of him. Doubt they call it. Oh, he didn't throw it to the back.
No, they didn't.
I thought he threw it to the back. I just saw a swing and he ran it. He threw it to the back. Wow. All right. Back to back to back completions. Let it ride. Here we go. Cover 1. One cross. They're doing it to the side of the back. AtoZ. How are they? They're in that same stupid ass concept that hasn't got open all game.
Yeah, that's like half their play calls. Seems like.
See, they get the 5-0 protection here. Everybody's man now. Now they chase. Surprised they didn't do this. It's funny. The Titans play 2 high all game, and then they get into 2 minutes and they play 1 high. Sorry, man. I know we're way over where we were supposed to.
No problem.
If you got to go, I'm not going to be offended. We got 3 buzz strong. Change it up a little bit. Don't quite understand why you do this versus 2x2. You would think you'd want to rotate this way. There's nothing here. It's 2x2, and you have the back weak. You would 100% want to rotate this way. I don't know if they're doing it because they're rotating down to the tight end, but I don't usually see 3 buzz. You don't usually see 3 buzz strong to 2x2. You definitely don't see it when you got speed at the boundary. Hey, it's the same route concept, but they actually bring one inside. I'm sure that's a red route, middle of the field closed, sit down, middle of the field open, break it back. I love how wide these guys are. Basically, damn near 4 techniques. They slide to the nickel here. They keep the back end, but the back checks the nickel and then goes inside. I just don't. He tries to release inside. Like, dude, go here. Go path of least resistance. What are you doing? I don't know. We're going to get a whip fire zone here? No, we get opposite whip fire zone, which is interesting to do 3x1. This scares me a little bit because of this. You blitz this guy. This guy's to read this way. Now he's your dropper. Oh, it's the nickel. Oh, it's both of them. Oh, it's fire zone. I'm sorry. So this is the old Baltimore Ravens. I won't give up the name, but they used to. It's just a fire zone to this field. I'm sorry. I misread that. I'm like, it's the backer. Wait, no, it's the nickel. Wait, it's both. For the backside, come back. The classic. Get this here, and then the nickel comes inside of that guy. Pause. Damn it. Didn't hit the pause. Do you know how many times on the coaching, I'm like, you got to come inside that guy. You can't go outside. And my coach is like, coach, my man, relax. All right, 4 plays left. Here we go. Crazy part is, after all this bullshit, it's still 17-10. I still have a chance to tie and maybe win this game.
Yeah.
There you go. 3 buzz, 3 weak buzz. Which, by the way, it plays like quarters, basically. And this guy's playing the middle of the field. He's not really. He's going to take 3 vertical, though. So it basically plays out. The difference in quarters, he'd be inside. And the nickel wouldn't sink like that. 2nd and 4. Unlucky. 3rd and 4. Let's see what they do. Oh, they bluff it. Playing cover 1. This is pretty easy to see they're pressing. Some teams it's hard to see. If they're playing catch, if they're better, if it's 1 or 3. They ran the same concept up top. What a shock. They ran double dig with the swing here. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Yeah, our man, Ducky, definitely cleared out. He would have been... Isn't this Autry? Oh, no. No, Autry doesn't fall.
No, it's Weaver. Rashad Weaver. And then somehow 94 doesn't recover this. Or 59. I mean, Sam Oak.
Their protection stuff's interesting. Like they'll slide to the back when the back's here and have him eyeball. Like they'll do. I don't know if they're trying to protect the one-on-ones on the back. Maybe that's what they're doing. Usually, when you cross protect, you get this guy coming here, and then this guy would come across. But he just stands there and stares over there. It's interesting. How did he not get him? That's why he never fought. That's why you got to. I love that they're still going for the fumble and he's dancing. That's why you always got to fall on your side when you fall on the ball like that. You got to get to your side, tuck your knees to your chest, cradle the baby, and your teammates cover you. If you fall on your stomach, first of all, you get the wind knocked out of you, and it's going to squirt. Pause. All right, so I always ask this question on the podcast, except it's usually national championship or Super Bowl. 4th and 13, something similar, like last play of the game, whatever. What do you call? You don't get to see this actually come out in real time a lot, so we get to see it here today. The Broncos go empty, and they're trying to run chip protection here with the tight end, so they're going to chip him and then go out late. The reason that you see teams do this is people used to get in split backs and run this, and then people like Mike Zimmer would put them in hell. And they would blitz and only play a few guys in coverage, and it was never worked out well. They're called Charlie beaters. In fact, Bama for a while, they would check to a blitz if they got that look. But with the all the things on the line, they brought rain. No, they actually brought it. Oh my God, the misery. Okay, so this is a Belichick delicacy. These guys blitz to B gaps. If the slide goes this way, this guy pops and this guy goes, right? If they slide this way, then this guy pops and this guy goes. They just say, screw it, they're coming. And why is that? Because somehow both sides get open. So my man here should have dropped, but like, also I love they threw the flag for offsides, but that's not a hold. 47 just jacked up. Watch 77. This is awesome. Blocks and says, nah, son. Oh, get some. Penalty. I get to try it again. Let's see what the Broncos or the Titans go with now. Is this guy any good? 80?
Is that Dulcich? Yeah, he's a rookie.
He's probably not that good. He's like in the premium spot. I know Judy was out, but like, he's in like all the premium spots where you should have like your best guys.
Yeah, they drafted him in like the 2nd round last year, but he's barely played, so I
he's
can't
not
play
very
if he's
good
or not.
He's not playing well. I'll say that. All right, let's see what the Titans go with now. Interesting, a little cover one for everybody's ass. One Krizos or one Robert, doesn't matter. You got the safety here. He's ratting at the 8 yards with the stick. He's ratting at the sticks. They lock this, so he's got him. He's going to play to this. They don't pass off. This is actually not a bad play design. This guy's got, not great. This is a great coverage on the back. This is picture perfect. Interception and the game. Congratulations, Titans. Let's ride.
Takes a knee on the 1 yard line, so they had to do a QB sneak for the final play.
Yeah, that's not smart. Run that bitch out. Well, shit, man. We got through. Hold on. We got through all of them, and it only took 2 hours and 39 minutes. I apologize, man. I kept your ass here too long.
No, I could sit here and talk about this stuff for forever, so not a problem.
Well, I appreciate that. By the way, your voice sounds, with that microphone being so far away from you, it sounds great. Your voice sounds great. I have one of those mics.
Oh, really?
I never use it. Yeah, it was further away when we started, right?
Oh,
It was the angle of the camera.
I've been messing with it the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shure microphone, definitely recommend it. Finally got a boom arm that actually works though, which has been nice.
So we actually have this. Mr. Arnold says, I work at PFF doing some charting. There are rules for some components. Yeah, that's because they are. So I don't blame the guys that do the charting, because ultimately somebody has to check their work, right? And if you're hiring a bunch of people all over the country, all over the world to do your charting, there's going to be inconsistencies, right?
Especially if you have to do it with broadcast footage, and it's gotten better because they show some of the angles in replay, but like I don't know how you would chart half of these without the all 22 angle.
No, hell no. I tried to do that playback stuff. I did it for a little bit, but then they cut NFL games. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not doing that. But I have no idea, especially with no rewind. I'm trying to guess what's going on with the broadcast angle. We have to use the broadcast stuff. It's awful. Why don't they give you the all 22? Because you got to get it turned around fast. Mr. Arnold, since you are, it looks like, anonymous, I have some questions for you, if that's all right. You don't want to talk about it, it's okay. What are the components? I've seen the Excel sheet, like with all the different tabs, and it has how to do it. Like, is that what are those your guides? I actually am happy with PFF this year. Last year they didn't call sims as blitzes pre-2022. So if you brought the nickel and dropped the end, they would say that's not a blitz. So it was no way to find sim pressures or creepers or whatever you want to call them. There's literally no way to find them. Because DN drop is it's never tagged, or it's very rarely tagged. So you can even do like, all right, 4 rush, 1 DN drop or whatever. So the guides for each type of charting, it's that Excel file, right? It's like all the terms, and then it's hyperlinked within the document. I would pull it up and show you guys, but I don't even know where it would be. You guys would be sitting here watching me 5 minutes doing this shit. Yeah, I mean, you're getting people with all different sorts of experience with a terrible angle, with no oversight. I mean, how can you do oversight? I mean, you have, because you guys tag, but I don't know if people know this about PFF. PFF tags in waves. So they have certain deadlines they have to meet by, like, for the NFL, by like Monday morning at 11 a.m. or whatever it is. So stuff like who's in the game, down and distance, yard line hash, that stuff's easy because it comes from the NFL. So they
do base player participation, and then
stuff like that. But then like coverage and stuff comes in on like Tuesdays or Wednesdays. So like I've done stuff where the they've gotten better about the coverage. There's one though, some of the newer columns that aren't on the feed, the ODK feed from PFF Ultimate, that you have to like go into different charts to find. Like, what's the one I had to keep pulling when I was helping a team and I had to keep pulling it? What was it? I think it was. They have a new column. It's called like QB read or something like that, where it's like how the progression or what type of route or what kind of progression, and that doesn't come in for a little bit. So there's different things. So anyway, well, we've talked about this game. Before I let you go, James, thank you, Mr. Arnold, for weighing in there. It's pretty cool to have guys in here like this that can I didn't mean to do that. That can weigh in. All right, take off your journalists. I love everybody the same. I'm not a biased fan guy. Put your fan hat on.
All right.
How excited are you at this point in the season?
I would say probably a 5 or 6. I mean, honestly, I think that offensively just sort of caps the Titans' real like Super Bowl potential. You know, I guess they're relying on Treylon Burks, a first-round rookie, and Kyle Phillips, a fifth-round rookie, to get healthy and like breathe life into their passing game, which I just don't think is, you know, gonna. I mean, I think it'll make a difference, but I don't think it's gonna revolutionize what they can do. Ryan Tannehill is again sort of capped out as like the 12th to 15th best quarterback, and you know, just like in that range in terms of you know, the turnovers creep back in when the playoffs come. You know, last year he had 3 interceptions in the wild card game. I just don't really see the Titans having the offensive firepower to keep up with the more top teams in the NFC or in the AFC, but defensively that keeps them in every game. And I think that they could be a team that makes noise and goes on a playoff run of 1 or 2 games, but I don't really see them as a legitimate Super Bowl contender. So yeah, I would say 5 or 6 for my excitement level.
Are they as good as the 19 team that beat the Patriots?
Man, it's hard to say.
I'm
like
eating, I'm doing a little eating right now. I'm starving.
The thing with those teams is like defenses were just playing so much straight up like Greg Williams cover 3, just like safety 25 yards back, and you know, they would run an over and a post, and it was like defenses had never seen it before. And it was kind of like back in that era where just running, you know, play action, max protect shot plays, their offensive efficiency was just through the roof. And now teams aren't giving stuff up like that as easily. So I think if you look at like the numbers and just how efficient they were back in 2019, you know, I think back then it's a better team, but I think personnel wise, they're better this year. I don't think offensively, you know, the best era for them was kind of a couple years ago, in my opinion.
When they had AJ Brown. Yeah. The thing.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's the other huge part of that.
It's interesting in the pros how one guy can make that much of a difference. You know, in college, I watch a lot of college football, and it's very there's definitely a drop off, but like how much of a change one guy can make is wild. It's just wild because I think the talent disparity, I think it's closer. Like I think the top, the bottom 90%, if this makes sense, is closer than in any other level of football. But then that like 10%
in the NFL or
the NFL, from that 10% to like the 1%, is just insane.
Yeah,
like it goes from like even like, so who's the second best defensive tackle in the NFL? Grady Jarrett? I don't know. I have no idea. Please don't blame me for that take.
I would say Aaron Donald.
Donald, second
right,
best.
No, I'm saying Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, Jeffrey Simmons. That would be my top 3.
Okay, how close to Chris Jones is Aaron Donald?
This year they're pretty damn close, but on like
well, the last terrible Super Bowl hangover, like
right.
Yeah.
But no, I get what you're saying. Like it is
in
kind of
college football. I think if you lost your best receiver, I don't think your entire offense collapses. Because that's what people have said about AJ Brown.
Well, Tennessee Vols lost their best receiver, Cedric Tillman. They haven't had him for the entire year, and they've been one of the best, if not the best, offense in the country.
So I think the college, the very, very top end, and like that 10%, that top 10%, I don't think there's as much of a difference.
Right.
Now there's standouts, but like how far ahead is Bryce Young than CJ Stroud? We're in the margins, you know, but like in the NFL, you get these freakazoids at these positions that are like, you know, how much better was Gronkowski than the second best tight end when he was going? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they go off these charts. Like, I can't think of a college team that would lose one guy besides the quarterback. Would lose one guy and you'd be like, oh yeah, we were way better when we had this guy. And it's like, damn, like they're that they pull that much gravitational pull, especially we have an offense where it's like built around Derrick Henry, where it's like, all right, you want to get an 8-man box, you're going to play one-on-one on the outside when they have to deal with this. I'll say this. I'm proud of the NFL. Somebody told me to do this 2 years ago during 2020, and I was like, no way. I would not enjoy this. And I did it last year out of boredom, really, to be honest with you. And really cool people like yourself that were willing just to come on and talk and just shoot the shit for a couple hours. But I'm actually enjoying it more, minus the Giants game. I just got mad and just started yelling about Wink Martindale for 3 hours. But, like, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying it. I feel like teams are doing more. They're not being stupid. Like, I couldn't stand watching and I've talked about this a million times, but McVay just running over route after over route after over route.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you're seeing in the NFL, there's different skill sets to be in the NFL, right? And in anything, there's different skill sets for coaches. And then there's even things in the margins, like people designing plays. There's different skills within that skill set. And I think one thing that you're going to see is the coaches that are able to adapt quicker and aren't one-trick ponies, and maybe even getting rid of some of the stuff that got them there. And I've talked about this a lot, like in soccer. Like there's a soccer coach named Arsene Wenger. He reminds me of Gus Malzahn in football, where it was ahead of his time by a country mile. And then everybody caught up to him. Because the problem with football, and like one of the defeating things, is you can only be cutting edge for so long. Then everybody just copies you. Because there's no patent. There's no like secret sauce. You can see it on tape. And there's also a thing called free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Like I spoke to an NFL team this past week, and I had some information about what another team was doing. Not for competitive, like, oh, their offense does this. It was a defense. It was two defenses. And I said, hey, I have this information I've learned. It's really cool. If you ever want to talk in the off season, I'd love to pay you back for your time that you've given me. And they're like, yeah, we have a guy from their staff from last year. So like there's the problem with there only being 32 teams is there are only 32 teams. And so if you can't beat them, join them. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens now that people are catching up to the compressed sets, the McVay offense. Does he evolve? Does he adapt? Does he go to the next thing? You know what I mean? Or do you just become that guy? You saw that in the NFL. You see that, like Monty Kiffin, legend, outstanding innovator. But he was at SC in Tennessee, still running Tampa 2 when the whole world had stopped. You know, and Pete Carroll finally got rid of that bullshit they were doing when they had, it wasn't bullshit, but when you have 5 Hall of Famers, that ain't the scheme, pal.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Quinn, it's incredible, like seeing what Dan Quinn kind of coming from that cover 3 tree of like people think of them as just
so hold on about Dan Quinn though, because Dan Quinn was at the Dolphins with Saban. So as much as he was with that stuff, he's also had a lot of experience. I'm thinking more of like, and you're right about that, but he also coached under that style too.
I got you. I didn't know that.
So yeah, no, I have a long story. Should I tell my Dan Quinn story? I'll keep it short. I was posting on the Dolphins message board when I was a college senior. There was a person on that message board that I was helping learn this stuff when it was at Miami, and they told me they knew Dan Quinn, and they used it kind of as a dangle, as a carrot. Like basically, if you help me, I'll introduce you to Dan Quinn. And then it got to the point where it was time to introduce me to Dan Quinn, and he was dragging his feet. So I just called the Dolphins office, and I was just like, I'd like to speak to Coach Quinn. And he answered the phone, and I was like, Coach Quinn, my name is Chris Vassar. I'm friends with so-and-so. They're a friend of yours. And he's like, who? And basically, I got basically catfished. Like, not like it was a college student that didn't know Dan Quinn, and he knew I liked the Dolphins. Obviously, it was a Dolphins message board, and I was a student. And basically had egg on my face and was like, well, I'm a student of Miami and I want to get into coaching. Can I pick your brain? And we talked for like a half hour. It was very nice. But he's, he's been with Saban. I think he was a Muschamp at the Gators, maybe. Forgot who he was the DC under. Maybe it was McElwain. I don't know. So at some point he was with Florida, I believe. So he's had some of that. But what's going to happen to guys like these McVay guys, these young McVay guys? This is all that they know.
Yeah.
And when boot doesn't work anymore, which I still cannot believe it worked in the NFL for as long as it did. Like, it blew my mind. Because this problem had already been solved. That was what was so strange about the whole thing, is this was not a new problem. It was a problem that had been solved a long time ago.
I don't know if you watched Hard Knocks, but the Cardinals, like, they were prepping for boot all week, and then they were just getting gashed by it in the Seahawks game. And the DC's just like walking down the sideline, like, we prep for this. We prep for this. But yeah,
what were they doing? What were they trying to defend it with?
The thing with Hard Knocks is like, they don't ever show you the angles of the actual plays to where you can actually view what's happening. It's like focusing on one player that's mic'd up or the coach's reaction. So I could really see was just like a boot tight end, I think leaked out, from the other side. But yeah, I do have to head out though.
We're good. We're done here. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Shout out your socials and all that stuff so people can follow you.
Yeah, Twitter is No Flags Film, and my YouTube channel is AtoZ Sports Film Room. Videos about the Titans every week and all 32 NFL teams. So definitely check that out and subscribe.
Yeah. Oh, also, I'm supposed to, subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Turn on notifications. I only go, it's 8 o'clock on Tuesdays. But in the off season, I'm going to do some content. I got a Mike Zimmer thing I'm going to do. Go back in time a little bit. Show a little bit of that, especially because somebody asked about it earlier about the palms of 2x2, 3x1 fire zone. So, yeah, thanks for coming out. And unless the world ends or something happens, I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thank you again, James.
Yeah, thanks for having me.